actual like real Z strategies. You know, they open the code and it's like, haha.
Right. We did see the Sarkaz spook over on Xyrathan, although it did not go there how they wanted to on the surface. They had to restart many times, either due to their strategy. But we did see Sarkaz Knights come out of Xyrathan and Team Flip. So I'm very stoked to see what they have in plan, what kind of tricks they have in the bag, and what they've been preparing for this joint op.
VS's sarcasm stands for sandbagging. Surely, surely that's what it stood for, right? So just hiding strats, right? Sandbagging. No, just gotta, you know, keep them guessing.
Keep them low key. Keep them guessing. That's the name of the game. Like I said, knowledge is half the battle. Don't want to show all your cards from the start. I believe that's where the first matches might differ from the later matches. Teams may take notice of other teams, what they're using in earlier matches, develop strategies, and just try to take advantage of what they know first coming into joint operation, because it is all about preparation, all about knowledge, and combining that, we get a victor.
As I believe here we are. I mean, you know, there's a reason why we were talking a bit about Flip versus FBY, because that will be our first match of the day. On the side of FBY, Fishburne, we have Blue, Boulder, and Patholin. And meanwhile, on the side of We Have Two Hands, who we probably will be abbreviated as Flip because it's a lot easier to say, gonna be honest. We have Zai, Crave, and Starnancy.
Yes, I will be referring to Team Flip as Flip. We Have Two Hands does come with its own definition and everything, but Flip is what we are going to be saying tonight, at least for me. Like I said, super excited to find out what Zai has in store, and of course the consistency that we saw from last night from Crave on the second map.
Yeah, things of note that I'm going to be curious about for like seeing if the contingency affects players. Blue and Boulder, I believe, both play quite a bit of Iberianites. Patholid, I believe, plays a good bit of snipers. Meanwhile, you know, you have the three niches on Team Flips. I believe it was Bird Knights, Specialist Knights, and Sleep Knights. I don't know if they have like 5 more niches up their sleeves, but we'll see how much the contingency affects them. As let's get a drum roll for what our contingency will be. Soon. Maybe.
Soon.
There we go. Haha.
Drum roll. Wow. Pacifist Instinct. Player can't deploy an operator until an enemy has been leaked. So,
Ooh.
very avant-garde. It's not something we've seen before, I believe. Do we have an idea how this can affect current strategies?
I don't think it's going to necessarily affect who takes or bans. It's just going to affect what map do you take. Because some maps, it's, you know, so maybe some enemies move a little faster, you have better positioning. So it really comes down to positioning. And that's where I think I don't think it's going to mess with comps at all, though.
Right. It's definitely positioning, because they've been practicing without leaks, and this might just throw a wrench into everyone's starting core operators and just really throw everyone off. And that might make or break a lot of strategies we're going to see tonight.
Okay, and I believe we have both players who will be taking this contingency. So on the side of FBY, that will be Patholin taking that contingency. So, you know, if you're going into that second map, right, that's DHEX8CM. Remember, it is CM until an enemy has been leaked. As soon as that first one is leaked, then then they can start deploying operators, and they'll be able to start doing, you know, the usual going about the fight and going about the map and everything, and we'll see how that goes. Meanwhile, on the side of Flip, I believe that is Starnancy. Yep, Starnancy will be taking that. Looks like that is a Sleep Knight. Actually, is that Sleep Knight? No, that is no longer Sleep Knights. I don't actually know that niche that well. Might be an artist, question mark?
I was about to say Sleep Knights. I could not put my finger. I was gonna say Sleep Knights. Then I saw the Lemon's huge cannon barrage, and I was like, I have no idea now. But we did see Caster Niche over on the other side, and I'm really worried I'm gonna be. I hope I'm surprised. I'm guessing that they're gonna start with a Mostima from the start on the caster knights. But here we have. I'm assuming we're gonna start with Fire Whistle or Shu, most likely a ground operator, or start with a heavy DPS to get the waves out.
Yeah, so Lemon. Oh, I mean, okay, Lemon is Sleep Knights. You just put the enemy to sleep permanently. It works technically, but it's
Kind of.
see, if you think about it, everyone's actually playing Sleep Knights if you just put the enemies to sleep permanently, right? It's no longer a problem. Slight correction that I believe this should be DHEX8 normal and not CM because you only do have 1 HP on CM, so it's like, all right, gotta leak that first. Oh, right, we gotta it's like, yeah, bit of an or never mind. It is CM, but you cannot leak. So you cannot leak.
Right. Okay. So you cannot.
Oh,
leak,
I see.
But it's...
I see the issue here now. I think I know what happened. The players that picked it picked the CM map, which makes it a little bit awkward. I see the issue now. I now realize because anyone else can take it. Reminder, it is not the person in the middle that has to take it every single time. It's anybody can take it. So with those two players taking, I believe there's going to be probably a swap of some form of who takes this contingency. Because it's going to be a little awkward. But our players, I believe, are loading in as we will be getting this match started soon. So this will probably get interesting to see if they swap the contingency or not, because that's going to get awkward if you get to map 2 and it's like, wait a minute, we got 1 HP, we're just going to keep... It's like, how many throws do you think we'll get to at that point if it's played, if it's that one? But we'll see how this goes, as we will be starting very shortly here. I believe again, like I said, players are loaded in. Loaded in before that first DP is loaded, as we'll see what goes on here. But again, I want to say that I imagine there's going to be a little bit of a contingency, maybe contingency getting swapped around, because it would be pretty funny if the players decided to go for EX8 CM. Just a bit of a wait a minute.
Surely they remember that the second map you can't leak before they start doing their relay, because I'm assuming if that happens, they're gonna have to go straight to map 3 if they're not putting into plan. But hopefully it's not overlooked here on map 2. On map 2, I'm very excited to see where Caster Knights goes. I'm looking forward to that.
Because I was looking at it, right? Because I was looking at that, I was like, players can't leak one. Oh yes, they're taking contingency. And then I looked at CM and I went, wait a minute. It's like, am I like, did I forget how Arknights work for a second? It's like, no, I'm not crazy. It's the people picking it that were wrong. Yes, I'm not. No, I'm not wrong. The caster is never wrong. Actually, I've been wrong several times before. It might happen, it might not. We'll find out soon enough. But I believe we are gearing up to get ready here as we are loading in. As here we are, SN10, Crave versus Boulder. Match has started as Boulder is ahead by quite a bit over Crave to start off.
Yes, and we're seeing here flag bearers being used by Boulder on the bottom. We have a similar setup on both sides. Crave going for the top right AFEL, a Volcano to handle both the middle top and top right boss. We do have a couple of leaks here by Crave, but swiftly taking care of Little Handy.
That is a U used on the side of Crave as as Endspeaker is trundling down, but immediately gets deleted by Ebenholz. That's good to see Ebenholz again. But enemies are continuing to trundle down, Yato being used to take care of them. I'm not entirely sure what the if Crave is running a niche here. And actually that might be... Yeah, no, I can't recognize the niche that quickly. But Boulder, on the side of Boulder, I believe Speaker is also down. Boulder's still ahead by quite... Actually, not ahead by that many, but the spawn gates are coming out faster on the side of Boulder, though.
Oh, it seems Crave is doing a 1P relay, meaning that only one operator is allowed to be deployed at a time, putting the self-imposed challenge just to show how much they practice this stage. And Endspeaker goes down, Logo's clearing up the waves. We're just seeing a masterclass 1P relay here. Still, it's actually 53 to 49. So we do have a little bit of a switch here. Scotty taking out the middle top Rift boy, and we're just seeing absolute masterclass plays here on 1P Relay.
See, the only thing for 1P Relay, though, is because you're redeploying and undeploying ops so often, it's gonna affect your time because, you know, as we mentioned previously, like, bullet time is a thing, right? So if you're constantly deploying, redeploying, you're losing, like, you're not losing a whole lot, but, you know, as you can see, that's about 4 kills that Path is gonna be able to have over Crave here. But Crave does finish the map, as we will start this map at roughly equal times. Starnancy coming in, as I believe that's when Path realized that you have 1 HP on CM, so you're going to have to do a bit of a reset because they need to exit and they got to change who takes it. So I think that contingency is going to have to get passed off, which means that actually I think Starnancy is about to realize the same thing here as well. If they have that pacifist tag.
There is no way that... All right, it seems like Starnancy is not going to leak. The first enemy is going to set up with Fire Whistle, facing right to hopefully help the DPS on the right lane with Roberta here. Wow, that is a Roberta. Wow,
yeah,
that
Roberta
is...
does the job.
Wow. And Lemon with the DPS, of course. But yeah.
Is that a Lemon on S3 or S2? I think that's the question. Nope, that's an S3. That's definitely an S3.
S3, yeah.
Judging by the death from orbit that we witnessed there. But meanwhile, on the side of Path, I think that's a golden... Oh, Path. Wait a minute. Path? Not using snipers? Hold on. that's a golden glow. That's a caster. That being said, I think that is actually caster knights on the side of Path there. As Poncho goes down... Starnancy, I believe, yep, Poncho's also down on the side of Starnancy. Starnancy actually, Team Flip actually has an advantage here, I would like to add. They are at about a 2-kill advantage, I believe, with slightly faster spawns, but Path is catching up.
Path is catching up, initially having the lead going into the stage. Starnancy here looking really comfortable here. Penance holding down the blue box on the left. We have Shu in the top right to hold everything down, and Luna Cub, it appears, just to help out with those sniper snorkeling boys. And Lemon goes down, repositioned into the middle tile to hopefully help out with the DPS and get things running a bit more smoother here.
Yeah, because I mean, it's a big burst of damage at the end, right, for Lemon. So if you have that redeployment time, you're able to clear out the enemies just that little bit faster by, well, you know, as you can see, sending that poor man to the bottom of the ocean.
Right, we like just demonstrated right there, just those couple seconds of killing those boatmen, because if they do make it past your DPS, they could slow down from the water, hindering your time. But it seems both teams, both FWIP and FBY, are taking care of it like it's no business. Starting to going on to the third stage, and I do believe both map 3 people are taking the contingency, so we are going to see a leak here for the first. Xyrathin up next with Arknights.
Yeah, looks like Zai does have to wait for that first Drunk Durin to leak before she can do anything, and there's the first leak. I believe that is Kanta going down to immediately stop the Drunk Durin as the map proceeds as normal for Zai now. At least it being placed very forward compared to what we saw in the demo. So this is a little bit of a different spicier setup I see here.
Yes, of course. I can't really tell if that is S1 or S2, but if S2, we all know defense down, slow duration for Minimalist would definitely help out. Over on Blue Triple X, we have the Bazinga Crazy setup on the left side, with just BP leading the charge, Minimalist coming down for both sides. Let's see, Gnosis for the Fragile, the Fragile on Minimalist here.
Down goes the Minimalist drone as he, not quite. He's still up. He's still kind of angry. Fartooth doing some work though to try to chunk down that drone. He's still about half HP. Blue has chunked down I believe Blue has already chunked down the drone, and Minimalist, yep, you can see him up in the top corner. He's he's a little dazed, fell out of his drone. It's kind of a long fall, right? As the Minimalist drone is still up, causing some mass havoc on the side of Zai, but it's more the rest of the map, because if I remember ICS4 right, there aren't any kill gates. Oh, that is...
Ooh, and a
Oh,
reset. It seems that Minimalist just taking control of the map, throwing a wrench in Zai's plan, just causing too much havoc with its shield up, and AoE damage just really taking and cutting off the map. Over on Blue Triple X, Minimalist. And a reset! Mia DPS is not enough. It seems something went awry with his setup with Vina, Victoria, and the true damage setup on Minimalist Death. Maybe DP was not set up correctly because of the contingency, but we are seeing a double reset here.
Reminder that they do still have to let that first Durin leak. Also, I'm going to go ahead and say, I don't think it's us. I think it's just the map that's cursed at this point.
Yeah, if you were here for the demo, we do not speak of that night. And hopefully it does not repeat itself tonight. We do see different strategies from Zai, so I'm banking on that, Wookie.
Yeah, we'll see if this one ends up going to sudden death again. Hopefully not, we did see Zai manage to clear it previously. So I don't know if the contingency affects some of the deployment timings, because you have to wait, right? So your deployment times are all going to be slightly off, right? Everything's ever so slightly off, and that's the big question: is how much is it off? As I think what happened last time was the abilities weren't quite activated in time, or weren't activated together, which might have been what allowed the Minimalist drone to get away, or get a shield up that was probably a little thicker than expected. But we'll see. Irene is set up, has to be able to take down the dodgy Durins, use arts damage. If they dodge fizz. English is hard.
Absolutely, Wookie. English is hard, but what's even harder is probably the setup for this stage, because we have a change from Blue Triple X. We see Vina being placed early to possibly help take down Minimalist a bit earlier. So like what you were saying, just those little changes of DP and getting the skill uptime and getting them all together to fit together is going to be the challenge. And Blue Triple X is taking the necessary precautions, it seems. And Zai over here seems to be rapidly flicking her mouse out of control on the pause.
I'm not sure what the angry mouse wiggles mean, but it's probably never a good thing, right? Like, usually angry mouse... Oh, that is an invisible... Oh, I see the problem now. There's a... That I think will get caught if you roll the RNG or silence. They're able to get him here. Maybe. He's looking a little awkward.
He's in the box.
Oh, no way. No, do not leak that. Oh my god, that is another reset on the side of Zai. Well, there goes one for Blue too, and we go again.
No.
So
the cursed ICS4 strikes again. Wow.
So what's our prediction of if this is gonna go to sudden death or not at this rate? Because my prediction now is high for the odds that we go to sudden death, because that is 2 resets by both players. It is anyone's game. You know what? At this point, it's just who can clear the map cleanly. I don't forget the speed run at this point, right? Like, just clear the map cleanly.
I agree, Wookie. I agree. It's maybe because of this contingency of just leaking, everything is off. Your DP is off, your skill rotations are off. You have to rethink everything. Basically, everything you practice kind of goes down the chute in a way, because you have to relearn the whole entire stage. Of course, you do have prior experience of clearing it normally, but just these little, tiny, minuscule changes in skill rotation just throw a wrench in everything, it seems.
See, my question here, though, is did their second players, throw the map 3 for both of our map 3 players? Because if you think about it, both the map 2 players are like, oh, yeah, I'll take the contingency, right? But if it's the leak one, the third player, they're like, oh, I don't have to practice a strategy for something like this. And then, hey, surprise, now you have to take the contingency, so all your timings are off by about 8 years. Because you got to wait for that first dude to waddle all the way down, right? So look at Zai's placement, right? Things have there's been a lot of shifts in how these operators have gotten deployed. Same for Blue. So if everything's getting shifted around because of that, it's like, this is also me trying to give both of them an out to go after their second player. I mean, what?
Yeah, it's just seeing and realizing, I couldn't imagine for map 2 realizing that you won't be able to tank that contingency for your third player, and we're seeing the ramifications now. Face Slapper coming on Blue Triple X's side, just making work, resetting the Face Slapper's damage is too high.
It's another reset, but the Minimalist Drone might be able to go down here, depending on Pastor's able to get that skill off. But that is an invisible Duran, but Zai is more... Nope, never mind. Spoke too soon.
Oh no, Wookie, it's not looking good. Like you said, I'm becoming a believer of who can clear this stage. Right now, it is a matter of who has it down rather than a test of time, it would seem. And we're seeing, I'm seeing the incremental changes Blue Triple X is making. He's placing Vina down early. He's placing Gardemia down to help DPS down Minimalist faster. But just, again, like we saw in the demo, holding down the line is the #1 contingency, no pun intended, that is just out of control in this map.
See, that's the thing, right? It's like, I don't necessarily think that it's like, oh, the player strategies aren't working. I think it's just a contingency messing up timings. Because if you're not used to having to let that first enemy leak, right, all your deployment timings get taken away, and you might not have enough SP that you want to set up for, and especially if that's not something that they practiced for. Both players are having to adjust on the fly right now to try to figure this out, as they have very little time now before the timer ends, before we hit sudden death. I'm going to get clarification from our TOs here, but I believe that they will be allowed to finish their current run, or maybe not finish it, as they might leak again. We're not sure which. We're kind of gonna have to wait and see, right? But I'm going to make sure of that, because for the most part, we don't usually run into sudden death situations. This might be one of the first ones we've seen on stream, outside of the demo, obviously.
Yes, and since it's such a rare occurrence, if you haven't, I'll break it down for you guys. In sudden death, there is no contingency, and the first who clears wins. So contingency will be down. We'll be seeing the strategy they've been cooking for us if we do get there, and also if they do not clear, then it'll go down to who kills the most enemies on the top of the screen.
And they will be allowed to finish the map if they think they can complete it, as well, that's another leak on the side of Zai, and I think that is going to be another reset. Does she have enough time to go in to try another run before sudden death, or do you just bank on Blue not being able to clear to do sudden death here? But I feel like you just start another run, you might as well give it a shot. You have nothing to lose, right? Like, if Blue messes it up. But Minimalist is dead. The Waker Upper is I don't see the Waker Upper anymore. I think Blue, man, I said that last time, but we'll see how that goes, right? But I'm a caster. What's the worst that's gonna happen to me? The worst, like, it's looking like Blue's gonna be able to have the setup here. I see that, well, there is a Waker Upper, but he is mad, but he is getting bound by Indigo, and Siege has the true damage. I think Blue takes it here. Blue takes it here. We are spared from sudden death, as FBY takes it over Fwip, as I believe this will send Fwip down to the lower brackets. Both teams probably given a little bit of side-eye to their second player for going, I'll take the contingency, as the contingency was, leak a unit. Remember, guys, read your maps, read your contingencies. That was, a little awkward there.
And oh boy, I mean, it kind of balanced out, because both teams did try to take it on their second map, to be fair, but still, victory for Fishbird Yuri, Blue Triple X, laying the hammer down on Zai. We will be seeing them again in loser brackets, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And yeah, that was, again, who could clear the map. And sometimes it may not be down to speed, guys. Maybe it's just adaptability. In the end of the day, adaptability overall in joint operation.
Yeah, you could have the fastest strat, but if it's super like timing intensive or something, it might be faster, but if you miss that timing, that's a reset, and that takes the most time away from anything else, right? That being said, though, if I had a nickel every time Fwip was on stream and had to reset ICS4, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird it's happened twice now.
Yeah, and it seems. Oh, sorry. On the note, where we are going to be introducing incremental bans here, starting after this first round. And what these incremental bans are we're taking data of what operators these teams use, and we're going to, in order to spice things up, ban those operators. Now, we might have a situation where, like last time, Swire kept on being used, but this goes through a TO, tournament organizer, and to make sure that more operators that are actually going to hold value will be banned. So, our first incremental ban here. Oh, it's scary. I'm scared, Wookie.
I blame Priestess. This is Priestess' fault. Is Lemwin. Oh. To no one's surprise, I think we were all seeing Lemwin do some serious work across all the maps. It's pretty easy when you drop a whole bunch of damage down and enemies just die really quickly, so it accelerates your time by a whole lot. So now that's taken away from you. That's a huge chunk of burst. No more Lemwin S3 for you guys. Or there's someone out there using Lemwin S2, like, you know, not having the crazy burst, like going, why? I have to imagine someone's doing that, but to those that were using that S3, no more S3. You know, what do you do now if you don't got that S3 option, right?
Right, just consistent. I believe I was predicting this because Lemon is just consistent, huge range, pretty easy to set up, SP cost not too high, and the damage is certainly there for a one-op placement. So going into this, we're going to be going into the bracket to see who has won their matches. Of course, we've only casted one, but it seems, oh wow. So we're seeing Broken Home versus Do Not. We're seeing, of course, Boys Kissers and Stellarwave. Really stoked to see that. And yeah, we're that's the top half of the bracket.
And then FBY and Yuri in continuing moving on. This is the bottom half of the upper bracket, I believe. We are not showing the lower bracket. This is the upper bracket. So FBY facing off against Yuri in the next round, and Ash against DDD in round 2. This is the upper bracket. These are everyone who won their first rounds or had a bye. As for our lower bracket, we have MPS versus Chud, Flip versus ZLF, and M3 versus Kelp as our lower bracket rounds here. All 6 of those teams now fighting for their tournament lives as they have lost their shield or their life, so to speak. So one left. You know, all comes down to this: lock in, or that's it. You're gonna get knocked out. So you gotta make sure you're locked in for this one. No more resets.
Right, and lock in we must, because I believe the contingencies will be coming out. Hopefully we do pay attention and read this time so that we can not have a mishap like round 1, but we love to see a bit of scuff here in Join Op. What is it going to be?
I mean, not gonna lie, I kind of love the mishap, but the contingency here is heavy cargo, which is the first 2 operators deployed must be the 2 most expensive operators or summons in your squad. So you basically kind of have to front load your deploy, which, you know, as someone who plays with operators that has a lot of, you know, my niche, we have very cheap operators, you know, like Maposa, or I have very expensive operators, defenders, or late too. But it kind of flips Arknights on its head, right? Where you're thinking, oh, usually got to deploy my Vanguards first, right? Your Vanguards are only costing like 8 to 12 at most, depending on which one you put down, right? All of a sudden, well, I hope for the sake of the people taking this contingency that they're not coming around and going like, Mudrock, go! Because that's going to take a very hot minute before that Mudrock can get deployed.
Right. If we do start off with Mudrock, we might be repeating the first contingency of leaking, which is unintentional. But this, not only does it force you to play your, like, obviously it's explicitly stated here that you have to deploy your 2 most expensive operators. In turn, that might actually discourage people from using high cost ops, because you can't even start. Like, if you go Mudrock 30 DP plus, you're not even able to start the map because you'll leak. So it's in turn kind of a ban to very high DP operators, which will be funny to see, hopefully for me.
Yeah, some high impact operator. I mean, like, Chen Alter, right? Like, she can lay down a good chunk of AoE damage. I don't know if anyone's necessarily gonna bring her, but that AoE damage is there. But if you have to do it like that, all of a sudden, if that was something you were considering maybe to like maybe hide some strats or well, I guess I don't know. I would not recommend hiding strats at this point in time. You are fighting for your turn of life, so I don't know. I'm expecting to see people bring kind of similar costed operators, with the most being like probably some guarded like 20s. But we'll see what happens here between our the two that we're gonna see on stream here, as it's gonna be Team Boykisses versus Stellar Wave. It's the battle of the content creators, as let's see how they'll adapt to this. As I mean, actually, I want. Okay, now that I think about it, if Yi comes in like guns blazing with vanguards, I don't think he cares. The more I'm thinking about this.
Oh yes, Yi being the Vanguard's Knights, this would be the perfect contingency for him because Vanguard's cheap. It most likely won't make a huge difference on his squad. So it's looking like Boys Kissers is having an advantage here.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know if they're necessarily going to go the same way the niche round did. It'd be pretty funny though if we saw two separate teams just going all in on niches, but I want to say that the majority of teams are probably going to be running more, more commonly seen operators. So with that in mind, right? Like, I'm curious how much this is going to affect their squad, how much this is going to affect their deployments, right? Because all of a sudden, an expensive operator that you might have had to hold the line, you don't have that operator anymore because you'd have to deploy them first, or it moves, or it doesn't necessarily change your squad, but it changes your setup location, because now if you deploy them first, you have to probably put them a little further back than you might have liked to place them, compared to compared to maybe early on where you're like, oh, if you want to try to spawn camp the red box as much as you can. Reminder, this is the two most expensive. This is not the singular most expensive. This is the two most expensive.
Right, and inadvertently, like I said before, just kind of a buffer to high DP operators, because if you can't deploy if you bring like 30 costs, you have to deploy them first, and by then the enemies just leak through the boss. So we'll see. They're gonna have to it completely flips the script on what we've been practicing, which is a staple of Join Up. Just gonna see different things happen, different units used, and it's a perfect opportunity to showcase that now here.
Yeah, I fully expect to see the squads chosen, might be the more experienced players who have, who are going to take this ban. The people who are more familiar have a wider roster, because the more options you're familiar with, the more you can just be like, okay, I don't have to use this super strong opera. I could use a cheaper one to adjust for this, right? And this, I can still keep my strategy the same, and with maybe a slower time, because I can't use, the more expensive, higher, the higher, quote unquote, higher quality or higher damage version of this operator, or of this purpose. Because that's another way to look at operators. It's not necessarily, I have to have this exact class or this exact archetype. It's what job are they serving in the purpose of this squad, right? So if you're able to find a different operator, like, okay, that's my replacement option, then you can adjust this pretty easily. It just depends on how overall balanced your squad is. So if you have a really balanced squad, you're probably not affected by this too much. As on Team Boykissers, it will be Zafang taking this ban, as, yeah, like I'm seeing here, the operators are actually not super expensive. I think the most expensive, assuming that squad doesn't get changed, I want to say the most expensive is probably going to be either Olpianis or Ebenholz with the potentials, probably in the 20s or so. I know Gladia drops down a little bit.
Right. Wait, and we might see potentials actually may matter in this case. Especially when your operators are so close to the DP costs of each other. We are seeing, we're on USL side, we have Stellar Wave going with a Shu, Logos, Exia, just hard hitters here, Shu to hold down the line. We've seen that in game one. And Lemon, I believe Lemon is banned.
So that's going to have to change. That will have to change because of the incremental ban to Lemon. So this is probably the squad before bans and debuffs, is like the initial squad. However, I mean, the squad in and of itself has relatively, like, I think the cheapest two are, Mountain and Nidez, obviously. But if you're going to have to deploy two expensive ones, They're not I would say they're not prohibitively expensive though. Especially if you're running like a Logos S1, it's like, all right, well, let me put down Logos and just have them like sit around, right? And just charge up that S1 so enemies die a second we get there. But we'll see how the adjustments go because I believe that's going to be later on in the rounds as we are loaded in here and we'll see how this goes between the blue corner and the red corner as the names will be updated very shortly.
Okay, and we're seeing it here. Boulder starting off very strong with Bagpipe in the top right, Exia ult in the top right, just going for the typical top left, top right setup, kill everything fast. Hopefully has something down for the top middle tiles. And we have over on Crave side, Whip, going with Saga. And it may come as a DP regen for Virtuosa here. Very interesting strat. And Lapland, the Lapland altar taking out the top middle tile, which may be more of a tile that we want to see taken out here.
Yeah, both Namipu and Meepy opting for to no one's surprise, right? Opting for the spawn camp up in the top right and on the left. We got a Lap alt being saved on the side of Namipu and Meepy. I believe that is an Exu alt. I think that's a Bagpipe setup there. Bagpipe on S2. Less button presses, Bagpipe S2, you get 3 charges, so you can do quite a bit of damage with that. As a much higher kill rate on the side of Meepy, though, already getting through those kill gates, up about 15 kills, so a blazingly fast time for Meepy here.
Yes, and Namipu just fighting back, just trying to get map control with Lap Alter, just trying to take a lot of that pressure off from looking, just Lapland taking care of all of that. Saga DP or SP regenning a Virtuosa. A lot of auto skills here to save on bullet time, just leaving that to mainly operators who deal a lot of damage. And of course, we have the damage amp from Scotty. S3 being used here on the boss and speaker, getting bursted away by Typhon. And being blocked by Saria here, maybe on the other side, also rooting for the Lappy strategy to hold everything down.
Yeah, on the side of Meepy though, only one final enemy showing the power of that Exu Alt S2, just blowing away End Speaker, as it is now Zafang. So Zafang does have the Zafang is taking the heavy cargo debuff, so cheap operators must be deployed first. As you can see, Zafang opted for a bubble and a Quora. Or, well, in this case, Hung's more expensive. As the two most expensive ops are deployed, so now he is free to essentially play the map how he wishes. And honestly, smart take by Zafang, because with how slow DHEX8 opens, you're able to get a lot more spacing. So you're not as worried about like, oh crap, I gotta leak this first enemy because, well, I couldn't put down my 30 cost operator in time, right?
Oh, and we're seeing a reset here. I didn't catch exactly why, but I did like the Psylocke usage there setting up. It seems like US Stella also taking heavy cargo here, trying to do the math here, see whose DP cost is higher, lower, just trying to get that base start. Both players heading in with very similar times here. And Zafang.
That's the start of the side of Zafang here. Even with that reset, just waiting for that Hung to get deployed and just trying to get it set up in time. Again, it probably affected how much he was able to set it up, as opposed like we said with the like back at ICS4, right, where you had to wait for that first enemy leak. It throws off your timing so much.
Yeah, it's just a similar, I would say a similar difficulty, similar situation here, where you're just gonna have to learn the whole entire map again. But Zafang opting to choose for lower rarity, as you said before, lower rarity operators we usually don't see. We're gonna go with the Elamine Fragile, free Fragile there. Just at the cost of a little bit of micro and some bullet time. Poncho is down, setting up the Surtur. US Stella on the other side, setting up Shu. Very safe here. And I believe on S3, so making sure nothing can leak would be a good strategy there.
Poncho is getting ground pounded by Surtur. He is not having a good day. Oh, wait, never mind. Poncho takes his revenge. Zafang's gonna have to reset here.
Surtur is destroyed.
I don't think that Surtur was activated in time for her to get her HP back. She was activated when that Talon 2 triggered. So she dies in 8 seconds if that Talon 2 triggers. But it's a little hard to notice, you're trying to eye the mark because you can't you can't bullet time it. So a
Right.
reset on the side of Zafang, as US Stella now has a kill advantage going into this. I mean, like we said, you might have the fast strategy, but if you goof up on a timing, whoo!
And that timing here is what we're seeing. We're seeing a change. Oh, we're bringing bubble now. Hopefully, I'm excited to see the tanking. The tanking. I am a avid bubble enjoyer here, but like you said, US Stella just having it down. Just it may not come down to the finest details of going fast. These contingencies just throw it off, and studying just one strat may not be enough. But here, we have it's looking like a very safe and high DPS setup from US Stella, which we love to see.
I mean, the setup is going through. Kills are coming through on the side of Stella, but I mean, Zafang is already caught up. Poncho's still not dead on the side of Stella. He is still in his boat form, chugging around the map. Meanwhile, Poncho is... Was that Surtur? Was that Surtur late? I couldn't tell by the HP bar. I hope that Surtur activation wasn't late again, as she looks like, yeah, she will be able to take him out this time. No shenaniganry there with Poncho deciding to punch out Surtur, as Zafang no longer has to deal with Poncho, whereas Stella, I believe, still has a very angry Poncho about to circle around the backside of the map here.
Right now, we're going for the DPS. We're hoping on the DPS for Exia Alter and her S3 and Monster True Damage in combination with some of the Sanctuary protections of Shu. But it's looking like the boss is down for BK. SW still has the boss up. Poncho is going around, and we leak. You still leak. Having to reset at a pivotal time. And that leads a huge lead for Zafang here and Team BK as we're just finishing out the mobs. And yeah, we hate to see it. We hate to see it.
If you're on Team BK right now, like, your job is to not leak. You do not reset. If you're able to you just have to play steady. You don't have to go for crazy speed. You don't have to go for crazy timings. You just have to not reset here because this is a massive lead that they have at this point.
Right, and just slow and steady wins the race, as one may not really expect us here in Join Op. Just making sure to clear the stage, I believe is going to be pivotal to winning a lot of these games here and taking those quick matches here. And as we go into map 3, Yi is clear of the contingency and is able to take on this beast of a map that has claimed a lot of runs tonight. But of course, US Stella opting here for the Calcit start, just trying to bang out those starts, but is having a bit of trouble here. Let's see if she can take it and get the core started so she can set up her DPSs and possibly set up for that Poncho kill.
Yeah, Yi on Yi's side, fingers crossed here we don't see another reset on ICS4. Like, I'm going to chalk up the last few resets for ICS4 purely to contingencies, which may or may not end up being a trending theme. We'll find out as the tournament goes on, but I hope that the trending theme is not going to be a just don't bother taking the contingency on the third map. It's going to throw everything out of whack, as we'll see if Yi's able to go through with a clean ICS4 run without any resets. Maybe Zafang took all the resets for him, as no problems going with the minimalist drone down here. I believe that was a Nymph Arturia setup, as down goes the drone. That is a US3, actually no, that's a U setup. I don't know if that's a US3 or which U setup that one is, but I believe it won't be S3 with the logos doing necrosis damage, as minimalist is going down, I think before he can even stand up, poor guy.
Oh wow, and he goes down, and we might, like you said, I'm not sure what skill that is. Maybe it's S2, because if I'm Yi in his position, seeing all the leaks from the drones or all the trash mobs, yep, it is S2. Like I was gonna say, it's just there as a, oh snap, I gotta take all these trash mobs and put them on a leash and just take care of them, and US2 is the perfect utility tool for that.
It actually is probably kind of a time speed up too, because you no longer have to worry about the enemy walking to you. It's like a pseudo pull, right? Except it's debatably even better than a pull because it's not affected by weight. It's just, oh, you can walk to me. All right, you're here now. Enemies probably super confused as they're getting incinerated by just being on top of them, but not a problem. And can catch leaks, so I don't know. Maybe we'll see you end up getting banned at some point, depending on how often that S2 gets used.
Yeah, and he has so many uses. Just, like you said, bringing the enemy closer for the faster kill. Of course, they're still gonna have to manually activate the skill, so you might lose a little bit time, but it might make a huge difference if that enemy takes a long time or is on an undeployable tile. You just taking care of that face smacker and everything around him going down. Stella trying to catch up with that DPS, but it's not gonna be enough, unfortunately. Yi takes it for BK in the first set, and Stella still making rounds, trying to make it work, and it's looking a bit better here, but that's gonna be it for the first set here.
Yep, as down goes Stellar Wave as Boykis just clear the map with about roughly a 1.5 map lead, winning by that much in the series. As we're gonna see, maybe, see how well you was able to adjust to this clear. You gotta play for pride at this point, right? In tournaments. Oh, never mind. They probably got the notification through there.
That'll be it. Very well fought by Stella. These contingencies, I personally believe, big ups for Boy Kissers. First of all, defending Yi, taking it. Really, both teams struggling with the contingency here, and just going for. It seems a common theme of this join op is going to be adaptability. Adaptability tonight, Wookie.
Yeah, it's gonna be the adaptability, just being able to hold on. It's not necessarily the fastest time that you have to get. You just have to try to get it's stability first, then as fast as you can go after that, right? Because if your comp's not stable, if you're going, I would rather try to go for a 75-25 that's maybe a teensy little bit slower versus go for a 50-50 that's faster, right? It's I don't know, right? I don't know.
Right.
But this is not the end of Stellar Wave, as they were in the upper bracket, so they will drop down to losers bracket, but their tournament life is not quite over yet.
Yes, we will see them again, but after this short break, we are going to be going into intermission. So go grab your popcorn, go get some water, stay hydrated, stay comfy, and we'll see you soon. Intermission time.
we're back.
We're back. We are back. But not before we don't have much time to rest, Wookie, because something spicy is coming up.
Yeah, something spicy. I mean, first off, hope everyone's able to get up, stretch, get some snacks, get some water. I mean, I hope you guys have popcorn. Given we got through 2 matches so far, hope you guys have enough popcorn because you're gonna be out of popcorn by the time we're done. But like you mentioned, something spicy coming up because I do believe we will have another incremental ban here. First one taking out Lemlin, pretty impactful one, as we have our second one lined up here. Again, for those who are playing, if you're gonna blame anyone, blame Priestess.
Oh no, it's gone red, Wookie. Who is on the chopping block tonight?
Aya Fiala.
Aya. Wow, I'm assuming from the Volcano S3 might have been used a lot just to cover so much area and just do high arts damage, and arts damage being able to be pretty amplified by multiple sources. And wow, that I was not expecting Aya. Okay, I was not expecting Aya, I will be honest.
The Aya doesn't surprise me because there are locations both in map 2 and map 3 where you could get massive amounts of value from that AoE arts damage, right? Whether it's against the boats, right? Like basically Machina enemy. If you think about for those who are like, oh, what a Machina enemy, right? Machina, anything that looks kind of like machine is kind of in the name, right? Machina Machina. I'm actually not sure on the pronunciation of that, but one of those pronunciations is correct. I can't be wrong twice. Actually, I probably can't be. But mechanical enemies, more often than not in Arknights, tend to be weaker to arts versus physical damage. Which, if you think about it from a logic perspective, kind of makes sense, right? Can you imagine punching metal? Your hand's not going to feel too good. You'd rather use like magic and like fry the metal machine trying to come kill you, right? So between the third map having dodge and those and the mechanical enemies, and then map 2 having mechanical enemies, or just putting some more hurt on Poncho, I'm not surprised to see Aya get banned here.
Right, and just there were really, I believe they were used a lot in map 2 and 3, just being how open it is, and probably the resistances were low for the enemies, and just being able to ignore dodge as arts is going to be pivotal. It was pivotal to avoid the physical dodge from the dodgy boys in the final stages and also in the second map. But we won't be seeing Aya, and it's going to be unfortunate because I believe arts is able to stack a lot more. I mean, arts can stack with Suzerain Fragile along with Sarya's arts amplification, which would be easy to set up in this format, but it looks like we're not going to be able to use Aya, but other casters are going to be able to benefit from this.
I mean, honestly, if there's anything, I'm kind of surprised that Logos hasn't gotten bonked yet, because he has really big range too. So I'm wondering if teams are like, okay, hold on now. Maybe if we don't use Logos early and our strat is still good, we can sub him in to go even faster later on, right? Either that or you're looking for, there is a difference between the range. Logos, all of his damage is towards the front, right? He has to face whatever he needs to kill. Whereas Aya, you kind of got that diamond shape on her, right? With that Volcano, because, Volcano.
Right.
You're in front of Volcano, you're behind the Volcano. Doesn't matter, you're getting roasted anyway. So you have a lot more flexibility with Aya range and where to deploy her. Whereas with Logos, you still have a lot of flexibility because, I mean, we see that range covers like 3 separate postal codes with that with that range. But, not being able to hit behind him, it's a little bit of flexibility. So you can kind of see the difference.
Yeah, it might be to how like I said, how it's they're planning for these incremental bans, maybe Aya going out, but of course we have other options like Logos. I'm pretty sure we may see incremental ban for him in the future, but I'm thinking that also Nymph and Virtuosa might be somewhere to look out as well, because they're a very high source of arts damage and also elemental damage to look out for. So just supplementing or trying to, switch out what DPSs goes in and out from this ban. Hopefully it doesn't change too much and our players will be able to, make the clear work.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to I don't think they have to make too many adjustments. Like, you have easy swap goes or damage that you can swap in place of Aya. So I don't think might not necessarily affect comps that much. The more interesting thing is, like, like you mentioned, I would not be surprised to see Virtuoso get banned over Nymph. Nymph is more a Nymph S3 amped with Virtue, but Virtue's the enabler. You can see Virtue being used on SN10 as well. Because, well, the Seymour may have art dodge, they may have fizz dodge, but dodge this elemental fist coming towards your face, right? It's like, dodge this.
Right.
So,
yeah, and with Virtuosa, again, also on top of being able to avoid the dodge and also do a bit of arts, we just have that auto skill on S1, being able to save on bullet time, and every second counts. Every second counts. She's pretty solid pick, and want to see where our players take her tonight.
Speaking of where our players take her, well, we'll probably need to see how our players are looking overall with our bracket here. Here is, I believe, this is still the upper bracket. We have Team Do Not lined up against Team Boy Kissers, and FBY continuing the rampage, continuing to show right now that the path to victory is apparently just have Pathlon on your team. Is all I'm getting out of this right now, as lots more teams being sent down to the lower brackets, as FBY is waiting for the winner of Ash and BDD to join them, as waiting on their opponent. As down here in the losers bracket, we have Yuri waiting their opponent, as Stellar Wave will be taking on Flip being able to advance over a ZLF, and BH will be facing the winner between M3 and Kelp.
Yeah, and just going over like these people, all the teams that are on here. I saw that it was Team Do Not. Do you think it's pronounced Team Donut, Wookie?
Nah, surely it won't be pronounced as donut.
Surely
right? Sure, I mean it's do not. Yeah, no, there's no U in there, so you can't really do the shorter ones. It's do not, right?
Right.
So surely that's not that's not how that's working. But I believe our next matchup is set up here, as we're gonna see how our players manage to go for this. It is BH versus M3, Broken Home versus Medkits Managed Mayhem. Wow, Medkits has Medkits.
Wow. Hockey Alzak, Izalith versus Custard, Horatius, and Intact. It's gonna be BH versus M3. Okay, Broken Homes, Medkits Manage Mayhem. What does this mean? I do not understand Medkits Manage Mayhem. Is there an underlying joke here, Wookie?
I don't know exactly what it is, but I believe that they will still be playing on the heavy card contingency, if I'm correct here, which is definitely not a joke, as we've seen with how much, again, it kind of upends your deployment, right? Just it fiddles with your order. You do get the deployment points back, because you can put down your expensive operators and just retreat them immediately. Or as soon as they're deployed, you just retreat them, get your DP back. Well, some DP back, get a rebate after buying your operators. So it's not as, I would say it's not as punchy as having to wait the entire time, but still does flip your plan on its head a little bit with timings.
Right, and timings is what we've been seeing is what's been tripping up and putting a wrench into some plans here. And going into more matches here, we're going to be seeing higher difficulty contingencies. I'm wondering if the organizers have what they have in store for us, if they're going to go along the same line of kind of putting that DP or / operator start restriction on you, or are they going to go in a different route for these new contingencies, maybe targeting a couple, maybe classes specifically, or something along those lines.
What I am curious to see here is whether or not they will be having similar strats, as never mind, turns out it will be a slight contingency. Me spreading this information on the internet? What? I would never. But we'll be finding out a contingency very soon. As something that I have liked, though, is that we haven't seen like mirror matches, right? Which I've been very happy about. It's like, oh, thank good I'm not, like, we've seen similar ops, obviously, like, oh, there's a Surtur on this side, there's a Surtur on the other side, right? Or oh, there's an Aya being used. It's like, all right, fair enough, but the strats and setups haven't been the same, which to me, I'm like, I love seeing that.
It's what I believe what they were going for when making joint op, just seeing a different characters being used and actually just giving them scenarios where they really shine, as to where regular Arknights stages kind of don't give most operators that spotlight. I believe joint operation gives a lot of those operators, as we will hopefully continue to see more. I mean, we saw Roberta. I don't see much Roberta gameplay.
We've seen other for a second, because we do have our contingency to see how these change and see how they adjust their squads. Our contingency is, drumroll please, as Ascending Tide. The number of operators in each player squad must be strictly decreasing across maps. So player 1 can have the most operators, and then player 2 must have less operators in their squad than player 1, and then player 3 must have less operators than player 2. So your squad basically starts shrinking a little. Basically everyone is affected by this, as you know, your squad has to shrink down by player 3. So the onus is on player 3 to make do with, you know, assuming everyone's taking the max number, they have to make do with, I think it's 11 operators, player 2 12 operators, player 1 13 operators. So strictly decreasing. You cannot have like 12 12 12, right? Strictly decreasing, not less than or equal to. As we'll see how much this affects our player 3, because anytime I see a contingency affect player 3, I'm like, oh, not again.
Oh, and we're getting into it here. We're having a Surfer start and Volpe start. Vanguard's going into the top right. We have Gnosis set up for the Fragile on S1, contrary to what we've been seeing in the tournament here. And of course, Bagpipe S1 holding everything down. Kanta over on the left side, and Hodor usage here to hold off all the trash mobs coming from the left box over there.
Yeah, I think that's a Hodor on S2. Yeah, I can see the sun's coming through. I think that's a Hodor on S2, which actually, by killing the founders in the red box, you don't have to worry about, again, on both sides here, right? Like, you're like, oh, why are they camping so far? Like, don't you have to worry about the seaborn poop? No, you don't, because, well, if they die in the red box, that's not on a technically deployable or just affected tile. It's not considered like a gameplay tile necessarily. So you don't have to worry about having to clear out that middle section, right? Also, Hodor's stun is going to be nice for being able to knock out Dodgy Boys if he's able to land that stun.
Right, just disabling and getting rid of all the annoyances. Just trying to focus on the DPS here. Similar setups on the top right. We have Reed alt, it seems, for Intact, and also Exia alt for Izalith here. And we're just seeing a consistent Lapland usage here on Izalith, so I believe that would be a contingency plan for if we have any leaks. But down goes Endspeaker going into the next phase, setting up, using Exia as S3 to set up, again, another blocker. So we just have everything on lock here.
Yeah, I think that's a Reed alt. That's a Reed alt S2, I believe. Actually, I wonder if that's a Reed alt S2 or Reed alt S3 setup there. I want to say it's an S2. Yeah, there's the S2. There we go. Some of the highest single target arts DPS you can get in the game, as Endspeaker just gets barbecued. Who's up for barbecued Seaboard tonight? As Intact will be able to clear this map about an enemy with about 4 enemies over Izalith, giving a little bit of an advantage for the side of M3. M3, the next player, Horatius, is going to be short 1 operator of a full squad of 13, because you can use supports, remember? So, gonna be short 1, but I don't think that should affect the comp too much.
As we can see, I'm looking at Horatius' squad, and we have 2 robots on there just to help out. It seems like Therm X, and I believe that is the new, or Fonor actually. Wonder how they're going to be used here, but we have a Mizuki setup, S1 to save on bullet time, I'm assuming. And we're also setting up a Blemmy here for Poncho, it seems. You go in the top right, and over on Hockey side, we're having a meal size. Just hold down everything. Looks set up to hold left lane and also Poncho to keep him in place once he goes down here from the nuclear Typhon.
Also, good news by both players here to bring those robots, because DHX ACM, you don't necessarily need that many operators, but you don't really want to drop kick your third player, right? So you just bring along 2 operators that you know they're not touch. So just bring along 2 robots. No one's really gonna be fighting over robots for use in the maps. and they're able to bring the maximum amount that they will be allowed to bring, because again, it does still have to be less than player 2, so they take races in hockey. As I mean, Padre just got obliterated both sides. Like I said, you don't need the robots, you don't need that many members of the squad, but it's just good to have to help pad out your numbers so they have more options to play with for the next player.
Right, Wookie. I really wanted to see them used, though. They're in the squad. They should be used. Maybe they'll help out. Thermiex should be, I believe, fragile. Could be used here with just a little bit of bullet time. Let's see if they do decide to use them. You, again, talking about that strategy, taking that a jet ski rider and just taking him out of spawn, taking him out of the game quick, teleporting him. And Lapland just, again, clearing up all the enemies that we did not intend for here.
Yeah, Lapland being able to clean up the rest of the enemies, sort of being locking down that top. This is a spawn camp of spawn camps. I mean, look at those poor guys that really got a chance. As I believe that M3 is going to be able to maintain their roughly 4-kill lead. Ooh, that boat did manage to sneak through. That is going to be a pretty hard time loss if he's not able to get killed in time. Which I believe is not going to be. I mean, there it is. There's a third Mexican used to speed it a little bit, but. Ooh, I'm not sure that boat lost. That actually managed to even up. That boat crippled, just completely wiped away that lead that Custer's gonna have to play with. But here we go, Custer being able to start. But this is now anyone's game. That 4-kill lead gone.
Right. And we're on the infamous ICS4, and we're seeing the effects of Ascending Tide, the contingency here, where our squad size is just reduced even further here. We're going with a very safe Thorn setup by Custard, and Alczak going for the Lapland. Ooh, right here, taking usage of the Lapland silence here. And yeah, Lapland is a really strong pick here because you're just able to just sit back and relax, not worry about the dodge. Might still have to look out for invisibility here, but it's looking pretty safe on Alczak's side.
Well, Minimalist spawn on both ends. Debuffs coming through, not on two, being Minimalist annihilated on both sides here, as I believe. Well, wait, no, Minimalist going down a little bit slower on the side of. However, again, no kill gates here. So it's not necessarily about how fast the boss dies, how fast that last enemy dies on this particular map. Again, no kill gates. You don't have to worry about, oh, I have to get this kill at this time, right? Makes things a little bit easier to breathe for the players.
And that breathability is what we're going to need, especially on this. Not focusing on kill gates, but focusing on the mobs here. We're looking at the Silver Ash and Shoe placement from Custard, just finishing out those mobs as fast as possible. Again, no kill gates like what Wiki said, but Face Whacker coming in to Alczak's range, getting destroyed by Logos, holding down all the lanes here. And we're just seeing, we're seeing weedy usage by Custard here to possibly hit all the enemies here and just, again, sweep out the whole map. No kill gates, just make sure everything dies as soon as possible. And just, you know, locking down on the Dodge Boys, locking down on the Face Whackers, and just having a safe run is what we're looking for here.
I think the kills are coming through faster on the side of Custard just with that spawn camp setup, and there's a lot less shenanigans when you're having to kill the dodge enemies, given, again, with the amount of arts damage that's being used. So I believe last few enemies are coming up here as skills are all being set off on the side of Custard. Alczak actually ahead by a kill, but not anymore as Custard does take it, still with a 4-kill lead, managed to make that time back up.
And wow, that was, it was really close. It was a very well played game by BH. I do believe that, I just believe that it's this time, against all odds, it was actually down to the couple seconds that counted, and the contingency did affect that final map the most, but not enough for them to restart. So it's going to go to M3, Medkits Manage Mayhem, Custard, Horatius, and Intact taking the W.
And unfortunately for BH, that does mean that their tournament life has come to an end, as this was in the losers bracket. Can we get a round of applause for BH for putting out a really great showing at the end there? And also, if there's one thing that you guys can hold your head proud about, you cleared ICS4 on the first go, which at this point I don't even know if that's a thing that I can hope happens every round. being honest.
That it was, especially with almost half a squad rookie. Like, I was thinking, okay, I hope there's no restarts here, but I believe they can do it. I believe there's not a real like restriction to how your strategy goes. It may go a bit slower, but you're still able to go with that bread and butter, like what you've been practicing, unlike the other contingencies where we had, you can't deploy you have to deploy your most expensive operator. You're not able to, or you're now able to do this here where it's a little bit more free in the starting. So maybe that helped out our players here.
Yeah, timing's not having to change is probably much nicer. Like, I think the hardest hitting bans are less the ones that change up the composition of your squad, but are the ones that affect your in-match timings, if anything. Because you can always find a replacement for an op that got banned, right? You're like, okay, if you know your op, you're like, okay, I know that I can replace, like we said with Aya, right? We could be like, okay, Aya got banned. Okay, well, we can replace Aya. Logos hasn't been banned, right? Or I mean,
right.
just, I can use you, right? He doesn't have the volcano range, but if the enemies can all be blocked, he just toasts them in half a second anyway. So you have operators that you can slot in to do similar jobs. Whereas the map timing is not going to change, right? Enemies will spawn at certain times or at certain kill gates. That's static. That will not be affected. Like, we're not going to have a contingent that says, oh, hey, by the way, end speaker's going to spawn like 15 seconds later than it usually does, right? We don't have to worry about that for the map. So, with that setup, anything that affects your skill timings, your operator timings, that's going to affect you the most, is what I think.
Yeah, just targeting the prepper, just targeting those unarmored areas of each team and just really taking all that they've learned and just throwing it out of the window is what those contingencies did. But this one, it seems, even though it would be considered more higher difficulty, they were able to start. Timings were similar, SPs similar, almost like the contingency wasn't there, just a lack of damage or lack of extra safety net of operators to help them out. So that is most likely why they were able to clear in the first try, which was very commendable in my opinion. Very commendable.
I mean, maybe it's not as bad down the line. Maybe we got all the shenaniganry was taken out by game one, right? Maybe we think FBY and FWIF were absorbing all of the world's ICS4 shenaniganry into themselves so that everyone else is spared this. Or there's all sorts of shenaniganry going on that we haven't seen. But like you said, it really just depends on who's the most adaptable. As well, speaking of adaptable, I do hope that you guys are ready to adapt a little more. As a believer, we have another incremental ban being released here. Again, blame Priestess. Blame Priestess. I see the rhombus. You can't fool me, Priestess.
Oh, lay it on me, Wookie. Lay it on me. Who are we going to be seeing tonight along the list of operators we cannot use? Let us see here.
Typhon.
Oh,
sorry,
Typhon.
Darian.
Oh, dang. Darian, I am so sorry. It seems the high DPS Typhon has been banned. I'm assuming that we've been seeing Typhon consistently taking the role of Lemon here, just high physical damage, long ranges, and overall consistent unit being taken out here.
Yeah, it's actually not purely off the S3. I saw Typhon S2 and S3 both getting used just depending on map situation. SN10, I think I was seeing a little more Typhon S2, whereas for, I think on DHEX 8CM, we were seeing a bit more Typhon S3, maybe for Poncho, but lots of Typhon being used. You have the range, you have the, whether it's a boss killer or just AFK damage, right? Typhon, that AFK from high ground, you can probably has pretty good range coverage. So not surprising that Typhon also gets taken out here. So we will no longer be seeing Typhon in this tournament going forward. You will be missed, Typhon. By Darian.
By Darian indeed. Typhon here. Typhon, Aofiala, Lemon. I'm just saying, it seems DPS seems the way people are going. Of course, the best defense is a good offense. And of course, in Arknights terms, you can only win by being offensive. And just taking out the DPS options here seems like what might throw like people off. But I do believe that there's some non-DPS picks that may be banned tonight, like Shu or Yu being seen on the incremental ban list is my prediction here.
I'm kind of curious of who they're gonna try to replace Typhon with on a DPS end, because if it's Besieger, I mean, the next Besieger up, so to speak, would probably be Rosa, but she doesn't quite have that same S2 AFK that Typhon does, so a little less flexible, but still does pretty solid damage for that. So we'll kind of have to see how our players in the bracket adjust, as our bracket is, I believe, is ready here. Here we are. Our updated bracket, we have Team Do Not versus Team Boy Kissers. We have FBY versus Ash in our upper semis here. Meanwhile, in our lowers, we have...
Oh. We have Team Yuri and M3 going ahead here. Still waiting on that. And we are going to see here in the lower bracket who is going up.
We got BDD and Chud, who will be facing... The winner between BDD and Chud will be facing Yuri. And the winner between Stellar Wave and Fwip will be facing off against M3. So we'll have to see what will happen. I believe round... Okay, surely I'm correct this time that the contingency does not change this time around, or I spread more misinformation on the internet. It's okay, I've been correcting it, so therefore it's not bad. And that's how that works around here. Why? Because, I don't hear you arguing against me, Comfy, so surely it works out.
I may have been spreading a bit of misinformation too, but it's gonna be cool to see what it was. Do Not and Boy Kissers facing off in the winners, and we also have Fishbird Yuri, which we've been seeing before, and Actively Searching Homes facing off winners bracket, a losers bracket, or a lower bracket looking really interesting to see too. But again, we are seeing some trends here. They're going away with the incremental bans, and I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting because we have 5 more incremental, or a couple more incremental bans going, and a whole night to talk about it, Wookie.
Oh yeah, it's like we're not gonna be done for a bit. But what I'm curious about here is, well, now there's been few more, right? There's been a few more bans. Some options have been taken away. Do you think any strategies are gonna get adjusted here, right? Like obviously the people who are using Typhon, right, they're gonna have to adjust. Do you think they're gonna try to go for like maybe more of a high ground? Like, are they still gonna try to keep with that high ground, like that range setup, or are they gonna opt like, okay, you know, maybe we should shift for a more lower round setup, right?
You know, low ground, high ground setups. I mean, if you ban the high ground, I'm assuming you're just looking for a switch off. I'm thinking again to the enabler of Nymph, which we've been constantly seeing, especially for minimalist here for the first phase. And I'm gonna predict here, even though if not buffed or enabled by the Virtuosa Necrosis, Nymph will be a contender here for the rotating bans here, but I do believe players will switch on over to other DPS cases, whether it be from physical to arts or otherwise.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, I'm not sure if it'll be Nymph, right? Because Nymph is the enabled in that situation, not the enabler. So, you know, when you think about that, it's like, all right, do you go after the one that enables Nymph shenanigans? Or do you go after Nymph who does the big damage? But that being said, even if that Nymph Virtuosa combo gets negated, you can still replace it because we have that US3 and Blaze Alt combo. That is also a huge chunk of elemental damage. It's not quite as high as a Nymph Virtue combo. You know, a little bit lower, but for the purposes of older maps compared to when, you know, Nymph and Virtue were released and when you and Blaze Alt were released, I don't think it's gonna matter that much when the enemy evaporates. It's like, oh no, it's half a second and 0.01 versus half a second flat.
Right, right. And, you know, we're seeing more operators coming out being able to do that, just wipe out just all of these units here. And I'm thinking maybe for the swap off of Typhon, maybe Exia ult, because we have utility from S3, big shielding from S2, and we'll see. Going into the bracket now, we're getting some bracket updates, live bracket updates here. So,
ooh, spicy. Do Not has knocked Boykins down to the lower bracket, and also ASH. Sorry, you're gonna have to correct me on that name there, because I'm like, I know them as Ash, but I don't know outside of that. Has knocked down FBY to the lower brackets, which means that Do Not and Ash will be facing off each other in the upper bracket finals for their chance to go from the upper bracket into the grand finals. Meanwhile, for our lower bracket,
we're seeing Chud and Yuri going against each other, and we're gonna see SW and M3 going in and going into that, and it's gonna be interesting to see where this takes us here.
Oof, Whip getting knocked out. The nichers, the triple niche gang has been knocked out. You guys had a good run. As a fellow nicher myself, I respect it. I don't know if I'd necessarily be brave enough to go for on a tournament on niches only, but I respect it. We get an 07 for the team that might have the record for the most resets in the tournament.
07.
07.
Oh, man.
Thinking of these matchups, though, Comfy, what are you thinking? How are you thinking? Because we've seen a good number of these teams now. Like, what are your thoughts here?
You know, Medkit's Managed Mayhem is bringing the mayhem, bringing it in. I just want to see what they got cooking, because I'm still trying to figure out what their team is doing, but they're making it far into here. And I gotta say, I do remember their adaptability, and like I said, it's all about adaptability and join op. And yeah, no matter how much you practice no matter how much times you practice one type of way to clear stage, we're just gonna find a way, and as we can see in these contingencies, to just throw it out the window.
Well, you don't necessarily have to throw the entire strat out the window. You just gotta, throw a little bit of a, you don't gotta throw the whole strat out. So that's the good part, right? Not having to throw out a whole strat. Although I wonder if there will be a contingency that eventually comes up where it's like, whole strat, whoop, you gotta figure a whole new strat out. All right, what do you think on the fly? Right? Who's? It's not gonna be like, oh, who can change your squad a little bit? It's all right. Which one you can think of a new squad, like a new setup, like right now, go. That's kind of what I'm more curious to see.
Right. I know they wouldn't do something along, oh, you can't take your whole entire squad that you've been using or something like that. They'll find a way, though. They'll find a way creatively to possibly change the whole dynamic of how we play join op. But we're going to be seeing the next match pretty soon here.
By pretty soon, we mean right now.
Right now. Do Not, Spimply, Dylan Q versus Actively Searching Homies, Ash, Amelie, Kinam Zero, and Miwa. All right.
We have a little bit of an interest, because I don't know if you guys remember, I believe the team was EOS of the last JO, but Dylan and Miwa are, we're both winners of that one. So we're kind of having the battle of former winners here. So
yes.
a little bit of a civil war we got going on here in this matchup here, don't we?
We have some prior champions in here, but tonight we'll be finding one champion here along the teams, as it's a team effort here. And right now, we're going to be seeing it here.
As we're gonna see because again, we have moved on to a new round, right? Because we're moving forward a little bit. So I do believe that means we have a new contingency here. Spicy, I think. Yes. That was correct for the round this time. Information, not misinformation. What's our contingency here? How will this affect our players?
Rotating shifts. Each player must give 2 operators to a different teammate, meaning that if you if you have this current squad, player A has to give 2 to player B, and player B must give 2 operators to the player C. So, and then player C in turn gives 2 operators to player A. So it goes around in a circle. We're all going to be hopefully being able to adjust to this. 2 operators may not sound like a lot, but then again, shifting already existing operators, it's already fixed for one team here.
Yeah, so I mean, I would imagine that the operators you're choosing to set, because again, it's not forced, right? It's not like you have to send your 2 highest DPS operators. Be kind of messed up, not gonna lie. But I imagine it'd be the utility operators to trade around, like, okay, let me just send my vanguards over this way, and they can send their vanguards, like maybe a vanguard swap. That probably would be one of the easier ways to go about it. There's enough agents in the game. There's enough flag bearers. You know, someone's not gonna have a flag pipe, but at this phase of JO, I mean, we have former champions. I imagine that it's just, okay, we're just swapping like the most common util around, right? Kind of like a common denominator around.
Right. And most likely we won't, I'm going to be assuming that we won't be seeing some DPS changes, although it may be happening. Like you said, sticking with the vanguards, possibly even the defenders or lane holders would be the way to go around rotating shifts, which we will be seeing here tonight.
Yeah, I think, again, I mean, you could swap DPSs depending on the situation, right? Like, you know, if you're using Elemental to chunk through End Speaker, and you're using Elemental to chunk through Minimalist, you could just, you know, swap the Elemental around and things don't really change that much. Maybe your position changes a little bit, but if you're familiar with operators, you know, it's just, oh, I could use this okay, I can just replace this operator this way. All right, just give me these operators, and because, you know, our players are allowed to communicate, so they can just say, hey, give me these operators, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I can give you these, stuff like that, right? Remember, team communication. It is a team game. They are allowed to. It's not just I go in alone. Team game. Work together. Team together, strong.
Team together strong, as we're right now going to be seeing right here as the game starts. I can just imagine the VC call, Wookie, just them going, oh, I'll switch around here, your vanguards. I'll switch around here, my DPS. We're about to see it there.
Kind of curious how much panic we saw, or if it's just like, oh, okay, let's just pass these operators. All right, we're set. As here we go. Actually, not sure what operators got swapped them, to be honest, because I haven't seen their previous squads.
Right, and we're seeing a very consistent strat here. Just these skill ones being able to avoid bullet time, and just Virtuosa being used on the top right here. We're seeing read alt as well from Team Ash, and Team DN right here do not going with the read alt as well on their team. Very cool siege right here. I wonder if that was swapped on over along with Skyfire pick here.
I mean, Skyfire pick does not surprise me either, because I mean, it is a lower cost operator, right? And it frees it's not necessarily just this does the biggest number. If you just need them to do a certain purpose and it doesn't really affect whether it's a 5 or 6 star, you can kind of get away with that as things are going down. But Miwa is ahead quite a good amount over Q here. Also, I see a Rasmontis usage pretty nifty, as I think both players have opted for the bagpipe as okay. I was gonna see a little dodgy boy. He was starting to scuttle about. Rasmontis like, wait.
Right. I do believe Rasmontis' stun is chance-based, but she does have those shockwaves, making it almost guaranteed, but we will see how that shapes up. We're seeing a lead from Q, or if it's planned, we have Jay and Waifu on the defensive here, just clearing it out. But of course, we're going to have to use some bullet time here. Taking down the end speaker. We're down 44 to 55. Quite the gap here. Schwartz being able to do the damage. I'm very surprised to see Schwartz here instead of Fartooth covering the whole lane. But yeah, end speaker going down on Ash's side. Now it's just clean up and finishing up, looking for map 2 for Ash.
Quite a big lead that they got going in. It's about 10 kill lead, so Do Not's going to have to hope that their second and third relay runners here are able to make up that gap. Or, you know, if you're on the side of Ash, you have an advantage of that many kills, but you do have to start the map if you're gonna be able to do this. That's looking kind of awkward on the side of Ash as that lead is gone.
Oh.
The lead is gone.
Just like the win. Oh, and it seems DN is taking it as Ash tries to find the support unit on the right skill and module. DN is able to get, Kira set up a really nice puzzle on the left side. We're getting click usage for, I believe, the stun, if I am correct here.
Yeah, probably for the stun usage. You know, S2 utility. I'm kind of surprised they're bringing so many low star operators. Actually, I mean, if you bring a low star operator, it does, again, it opens the path up for your later teammates. As Poncho is on the field, Poncho got stunned a few times, but he is still rather angrily running around the map. It's probably one of the slower. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say it's one of the slower Poncho because never mind. He's already. As let's see what the setup is gonna be to kill because you do want to kill him quite quickly. Oh, great use by Beeswax to just take the damage. Beeswax does regenerate HP. Okay, I was gonna say like please don't leak a boat of all things, a Poncho boat. That would be very sad, but I do believe Poncho does go down there. Operators do survive, so no worry there. As Ash has not started their map yet. What is going on that side? That is so much time lost. That is a 17 kill advantage now that DN has.
Oh no, originally entering the map with a around a 10 kill advantage is now on the flip side here. Good use of Ebon Holes just hanging on to dear life, as well as Indigo on DN's side. We're just clearing out the map. Oh, the main threat is over. Just gotta watch out for the dodge, but we do have arts damage to ignore the physical dodge. Over here on Amelie's side, we do have almost a reset. We're a reset. Amelie is resetting. It seems there might be a miscommunication on how we go about the operator selection, but we're about to see here as DN clears up with the beeswax tank and Click continuing to add value in the top right.
He's actually not too bad because you know you have they're blocking. You have the floating platform, right? So she does regenerate her HP. So it's like, oh yeah, she loses. But you know, if you're only holding off one enemy, she can heal that back. As long as I don't think she gets bonked too much, as last enemy is showing up and probably about to die to the Indigo in a couple more shots, as that opens up the path for the third player of Do Not as Dylan steps into ICS4.
Yes, ICS4, and we see again the enabling of Virtuosa and Nymph, which I assume is going to be for Minimalist Phase 1. Amelie working on that opening, Chill Check going in with the chest, Vulpes on the right, and it's a whole map advantage here. Let us see if Ash can catch up. We do have the Gnosis, we do have the tools to bring us forward in this match, but it's all about the execution. But as we've seen tonight, we shouldn't get our hopes up because map 3 is all about clearing the map, as it would seem.
Yeah, all sorts of weird shenanigans can happen on IC. It's a monster S2 being utilized there, increasing attack speed for the gang involved. Buffing that talent too, as down goes the Middle-list drone. The hard part is over for Middle-list. Now it's just, you know, getting rid of him before he starts waddling around. So I believe he will be going down shortly, as Dylan is utilizing Spickley's Ifrit and Nymph here. Hence, we see the Virtue setup.
Yes, that extra art shred from Ifrit might be seen here. We're setting up Schwartz for the Phase 2, I believe. And we have Exec, Alt, and Hoderer holding down the line, which might be one of the most pivotal points that we see this match. Face Whacker coming down. Oh, and Hoderer just takes it, being a Crusher class with the highest base HP in the game. Like, it's no problem for here. It seems we're just waiting for the boss. Exec Alt is able to clear it up. Over on Ash's side, we have a pretty calm setup here, just trying to catch up, and just setting up here for the next map.
I mean, if you're on DN side, the job here is just to not die to a backer, which between Hoderer and Exec Alt setup, and you also have a lap alt, you know, just in case something manages to sneak through a little bit, you have options to slow them down and kill everything. Schwartz, you know, being able to pump damage, just trying to spawn camp here. I imagine skills are going to be active just to clean it up, just to prevent any last enemies from trying to scuttle on through. As, okay, the face rocket doesn't even have a chance. As down goes the last enemy, as DN takes it over Ash by about a map and a half.
And that would be the set, it appears, Wookie. Omni still putting up with the map here, just trying to finish here, but it was a really good effort here, just trying to get down the contingency. I believe might have just thrown something off, but we do still see a clear from Ash. Congratulations to Do Not for taking this W. Spipley, Dylan, and Q managing to take the W here.
Dylan maybe here going, it's my plot arbor now. It's no longer Path's plot arbor. It's mine. Seriously, what is with that team in plot arbor?
Right. And as we move on, it's shaping to me, Wookie. It's that last map is like a coin toss. I feel it's either you have to consistently be able to clear, or just like, I don't believe speedrunning is the way to do it. Although we did have a match that we did see it did come down to the wire, but that last map, I believe, is a coin toss for me, Wookie.
I think it's less of a coin toss now because the people who are taking their contingencies are better prepared for it, for lack of a better term, because our first two teams, you had both players who took the contingency as the middle teams, which, you're on a CM, so it gets a little awkward if you're trying to do that, right? So they had to go like, oh, geez, I had to adjust midway. So, that kind of midway adjust probably threw off our expectations a bit, but it looks like things have gone back to settling back to the way we kind of expected to. So, a lot less resets coming out on the third map. I think we saw a couple more on the second map, more than the third map at this point, so perhaps I treated you too harshly, ICS4. But
we are going to be going into the next incremental ban here. Who is it going to be? Flashing red. It's going to be, oh man, lay it on us, join up. Lay it on us. Oh. A layer of protection gone. Lapland seen as a barrier to all of those scraggling enemies that didn't account for will be banned in this game.
Also, a source of silence being removed here is the bigger one to me, because Lapball S3, the drones are able to silence enemies. So if you're running Lapball on, ICS4 or SN10, right? That's some enemy negative effects that you may not have to deal with anymore, whether it's dodge, or enemies being able to spawn the Netherseed brand. That's something you don't necessarily have to worry about anymore. But now, that's a source of silence. You still have Lapland Guard, right? But after that, though, I mean, you don't really have that many silence options. You have, who else do you have? You have Jay, right? Jay can do silence. I mean, if you're really desperate, you can bust out the core of Serum. We saw Q use a waifu for the silence, but there's not a whole lot of silence options that also do good DPS, right? Like, what do you go for after that? I mean, you can use Proviso, maybe? But that's just util for the sake, that's like pure util at that point. You're not getting nearly as much damage output.
No, maybe the route to go, Wookie, would be to go for CC, like stuns and colds and everything like that. But as we're about to see in the bracket here, we're gonna be seeing how it's shaping up to be. Oh, and they're moving on to the grand final, of course, as we saw, is Do Not Ash putting up a really good fight, as we can see. But I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see what the lower bracket has going on for us here.
Lower bracket here, we still have Team Chud versus Team Yuri and SW versus M3, as they will end up, again, Ash, I believe, has been knocked down to the lower. Again, their tournament life isn't over yet. They were very far along the upper rounds. I mean, we could easily see Ash run it back, right? For the, what does you guys say in the fighting game community? The salty run back? Not done yet, go back in, right?
Right, yeah. Just the come up. This is the come up bracket, and we love to see if the lower bracket can really just bring it up and just take it back, because nothing is better than a dish served cold of revenge. Initially losing in the winners, but coming back in the lower bracket.
Also, just in general, kind of love seeing an underdog come all the way up, especially a team that's been knocked down in the lower bracket, make that, as I like to say, the Cinderella runs, making it all the way back. But we'll have to see if a team is able to do that, or, they're just going to run into the juggernaut that is Ash, because, well, Ash made it that far in the winner's bracket, and you will have to get through them if you want your tournament life to stay alive to make it to that grand finals against Do Not. Do Not probably sitting here very comfortably. They have time to adjust for strats, watch other strats. They're probably enjoying their time off right now, taking a nice breather.
Yeah, and just going up against like Ash, just there's vengeance in their eyes, there's blood in their eyes. Get back in and just get back into the position or the opportunity of getting back in there, and just I hope that feels a fire. I could definitely feel the fire. There's previous champions in here. There's underdogs here. There's a lot going on in Joint Op that we have still yet to see unfold tonight.
Yeah, but that being said, though, you might be ready for, the revenge run, right? The salty run back. But you can't lose sight of what's currently in front of you, because if you overlook any of our teams that are still in that lower bracket, they will make you pay if you're like, okay, well, I don't have to, I just need to prepare for my match against them. I got to prepare for that contingency. And then you get a different one. It's like, oh, I didn't prepare for this. I like make some contingency plans for this contingency. And you don't get your chance, right? So one step at a time. You just got to go 1-0 in each step of the bracket. Don't lose sight of your current path for the side of the goal. It's the journey. The journey counts for quite a bit here. It's not just about the ending.
Right, the journey, and just seeing previous champs fight off against these against people who may not like have that experience is just something you only see in Joint Op, and it brings about like some very interesting cases along with the contingencies that we're seeing, just to mix the basket, make the playing field even, and really just bring out the best of operators we do not see. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, some of the strats that I've seen, though, that I'm looking at these matches like, all right, who might get what operators might get incremental ban next, right? It's like I've been seeing Readalt, quite a bit of Readalt S2 usage, that again, lots of single target arts damage down, and see that getting bonked. I could definitely see Virtuosa getting bonked with how much impact that she has. Maybe Golden Glow, but kind of we'll see. I could maybe see you getting banned. Do Not actually has done a really good job of using rarity ops so that they can use out the strongest ops. But speaking of adjustments that they'll have to be made, as we have our lower bracket is updated now, as we're going to see who moves on in that lower bracket to continue to move forward.
Right, and we're just the anticipation. Oh, there's BK versus Chud and FBY versus M3 here, going in to this here. Oh man, we're getting to the wire. We're getting down to the wire.
Boykins versus Chud is going to be another battle of the content creators, as Tobo is on Team Chud there. So another battle of the content creators. Unfortunately, Stellar Wave will no longer be able to participate in that battle of the content creators, as, again, they were unfortunately knocked out by M3. But there's still a few left. If you're rooting for your favorite CC, they're still there. And, FBY, Dylan's, or not Dylan, Path's plot arbor. We're going to see how long Path's plot arbor holds out, if he's able to make that low run. But we'll find out soon enough. But again, I'm curious to see how people's strats are going to start adjusting now, because Lap, like you mentioned, Comfy, that is a pretty big security blanket that got taken out. Golden Glow is still there. She is still there, but maybe with a little bit less, silence, a little bit less comfortability on that end. Who knows? We'll find out, as here we have our matchup being prepared for us. It is the battle of the content creators. Dear God, Chud has a very long name.
Long name indeed. I'm pretty sure chat help undulating dubiously does not invoke enduring silliness. Tobo Bloop, Azzy, and content creators here along BK, Zafang. Oh, Zafang Specialist Knights, Meepy, and of course, do not forget Yi. This seems like a titanic matchup. Man, I'm absolutely titanic matchup here, Bookie.
Yeah, we'll have to see how they adjust to, both contingencies, right? The current contingency, as well as the incremental bans, as they will be facing that incremental ban of the lap alt. So I'm kind of curious to see if were any of them really using lap alt that much, or is they, I'm just gonna use this lap alt while she lasts, secure things a little bit, and we'll see what happens from there, right?
Right. Yeah, I just maybe like we were saying, Golden Glow might see some usage. Just because she doesn't have silence, she's able to stun with her S3, so that might be a little bit might help out with the dodge boys, but then again, it's not guaranteed. So it could be a safety blanket, but a safety blanket that works some of the time.
I mean, there's also the safety blanket of if you activate US with Golden Glow, it's like, oh, I don't need to silence anything, they just die, so you could just opt for that one. Just say it.
Right, just the pure damage of just destroying them, because remember, arts can go through the physical dodge of most of the enemies in these stages. So that'll be very cool to see. It'll be cool to see if you Golden Glow instead of some you Blaze alt as initially intended for their usage case here.
Speaking of adjusting to contingencies, I'm about to find out the contingency that they will have to face here. Our contingency is special crew. Other teammates can't deploy any operators that share an archetype present in the affected player's squad. I'm gonna be honest, that kind of helps, boy, because especially if someone opts, is the thing just like, all right, screw it, I'm going full specialist size, I got this. Like, you can't use specialist. Well, you can probably get away. Yep, Zafang did in fact think, I'm like, is Zafang bust out all the specialists? Like, all right, I got this.
Wow. So it says archetype, so of course you can use guards with like other you can still use like multiple guards, but cannot be the same archetype, so can't use like crushers, and yeah, might right here it seems like Bloop is going to the crusher enjoyer number 1 here, might have to switch things up. Definitely might have to if that he does it, because he did take the contingency. And I do see quartz. I love me my quartz, Wookie.
You do love your quartz, but between Zafang and Bloop, they're going to have to try to minimize the number of archetypes they use. So I would not be surprised if Zafang really did bring out the specialist for this, just to make it easy for the rest of the team. As here we go between BK and Chud. That is an Exu ult already set up.
Yeah, Exu ult is already down, just being that low DP cost and high damage. Taking S2 for that raw damage here. Golden Glow, as we were talking about, being taken by Tobo just to, it seems, serve the purpose of the banned lap alter here. And BK Meepy going for the Inez bind with a mountain to take care of everything there. Again, taking advantage of the red box kill so that all the Seaborn goop does not go everywhere.
Meepy opting for a KOB. I believe that should be a KOB S2. I very rarely see. Hypothetically, could be a KOB S3, but I personally would not, just because S2 just has just a much higher damage output. But Tobo ahead in kills here.
Yeah, Tobo just getting Exia down, that powerhouse, not able to cover the very top right, but we do have Ash S2, which I believe is the first time we've been seeing this on screen here. Interesting play. We have Schwartz in the top right. We've seen this play before, tried and true. Hopefully the defense shred is going to help out Ash and her low damage, but down goes End Speaker here. We're ahead by 4 kills on Team Chud. BK going in and matching, absolutely destroying the End Speaker with Exia here.
You have to imagine that, like, for JO, this is probably the worst week for, like, the various bosses at Arknights. So, like, man, we're gonna get jumped by all these doctors that are trying to speedrun us. This is easily the worst week in their lives.
Absolutely. It's not a good time to be end speaker right now. Just getting destroyed. Tobo clearing it out. Going to be heading out in map 2 pretty soon with a widening the kill lead here. Meepy on the final phase of end speaker, getting it down. It's going to be close, but here we have Bloop setting up.
Yeah, Bloop here's, let's see, because again, because Bloop took the debuff, all the archetypes that they're using here cannot be used. So Crushers, so they're just opting for all the Crushers here. I mean, there's the Quartz, right? And yup, Zafang is running all specialists. He's like, oh, perfect.
Right, and I cannot wait to see how Quartz is being used. We're going to be making use of the high HP that Crushers initially have and the high damage, raw base damage that we have. Hodor is facing down Poncho right here, just going to absolutely solo him in the bottom right. Meanwhile, BK going for a more traditional Ella Grismot already taking Poncho down. Hodor is still smacking down Poncho, appearing in the middle here.
Yeah, let's just try to look at what, I mean, if none of the other sides of BK take specialists, or the similar archetype specialists, they're good to go, because the only one that was used is Geek, but, you know, no one's really going to bring an Arc at this point in time, I don't believe. As on the side of Bloop, it was Crushers, Loop Shooters, multi-target medics. That actually wasn't Executor Crowns, because I believe that was a Crown Slayer that did get brought. So that one might affect things if people wanted to use a Yato ult or a Tetzel. But, I mean, kills are actually even up here. I don't know if you've noticed that. It's
right. Yeah, BK it's catching up. It might be from the Swire in the top right, or actually Bloop setting up Hodor in the bottom right for Poncho. May have made the gap a little bit smaller here, but Bloop does decide to go Hodor reposition in the top right to get the faster kills and hopefully take back the lead, or actually keep the lead, which is narrowing down here. We're seeing Zafang deploy Ella for the top left for Fragile, cleanup, and it's just looking like it's neck and neck now.
Well, Bloop is still good. Bloop does have the faster kill gates here, as you can see with the spawns. So Zafang is going to be a little bit behind, but the question at this point is, how much can Zafang narrow that in order to give Yi the best chance that he can get with maybe a faster strat, right? To be able to actually overtake at the end there. You know, close the gap at the end, you know, surge it up. But only one, I mean, this is Zafang made up a lot of time here. That is huge.
Insane lodestar placement, just bursting down here going into map 3. Azzy versus Yi here. Continuously not active here, but we are seeing Siege again being used for lane hold puzzle. We have a very safe Saria over on Chud's side, and Mizuki S1, a common theme just to avoid bullet time. You got good damage, you have wide coverage, and you just place Mizuki down and you just kind of forget, and the DPS is there.
The critical part here, again, reminder that ICS4 does not have kill gates, which means the enemies will spawn at the, you know, quote unquote same time for our players. So it's not so much a matter of killing certain enemies in time, it's the matter of getting the last enemy killed in time. So Azzy does have a built-in advantage with enemy spawn time overall. It's just, is the setup enough where it's not going to be possible for Yi to be able to catch up? That's what we're going to have to see here, as Yi is going to have to do his damnedest to kill these enemies as soon as they spawn.
Right, and let's see if Narutuya with the Warframe buff can catch up. As he set up, well, it's already gone. I was just about to talk about it, but that Exia Suzerain Sculptor setup absolutely melted. Oh, and we're seeing a reset from Yi.
ICS4 strikes again. I don't know if the comeback's going to happen at this point. Azzy just makes a critical error, but there are defenders present on the map to tank the face whackers, as you like to call them. As, I mean, this is just, it's Azzy's game to lose now. You're ahead by basically half a map. You just need to make sure that you don't leak one, because a leak will absolutely cripple you.
Absolutely, and we've seen it time and time again. These teams have not only experience but also the foresight of what has happened in the past, and it seems that Azzy has his bases covered. Chu Bai providing the bind for Pancreas. Saria just locking that face whacker lane down. And of course, we have just the buff squad. Everything has been accounted for at this stage of play, and we're just seeing the fruition of it here. Yi making a fruitful attempt here, just trying to set up here, but it's not enough as Chud gets the W as he bringing it home here.
Tobo's Team Chud has won the battle of the content creators. Also, by the way, that Thorns alt S3 usage, love to see it. Really good amount of debuffs being brought out there as he's just making sure that, no, I'm just going to kill them as they spawn. In fact, I'm going to kill them before they even made it out of the red box. Even faster. Really good plays coming out from Chud. White Case was just coming up just ever slow, slightly short, as that will unfortunately end their time in this tournament. They are knocked out. Can we get an 07? But also a round of applause because we saw some just peak special and ice play in this in that matchup there. But congratulations for Team Chud for moving on. Your tournament life stays alive. Are they going to be the ones who go all the way to face Do Not in the grand finals? We'll have to find out.
Do Not just sitting over there, just in their armchair, just they know how to clear the final map. So maybe we have a scrap here.
So I'm wondering if Do Not's gonna happen, because again, Do Not's been using a lot of like lower rarity ops, whereas so far I think every other team has been using their high rarity ops, their strong op, the really buffed up operators, which makes you wonder like, or is it in the grand finals when Do Not finally they drop the training weights, like Rock Lee stand out, he drops the training weights, right? And it's like, oh my god, those are giant training weights as they go on a tear, or are they gonna be less familiar with it because they haven't really been running them that often, so the muscle memory might be a little off. That's something that I'm kind of looking out for. But with these rounds concluded, this does mean Priestess is going to nuke someone again. 07 to whichever operator gets bonked. Comfy, do you want to think about who it is? I'm thinking it's going to be Virtuosa. Who do you think is going to?
Oh, I must say Schwartz. Schwartz has been a consistent player in the first Saltifair Navis map in the top right, so we're about to see. Hit us, Teresa. Oh, target acquired.
Teresa hasn't done anything bad to us. You leave that. You do not slander her.
I apologize, but
let's see who we got.
We'll see, Priestess.
Also not surprising.
Okay. Consistent damage, consistent shielding, and also utility of S3. Not surprising, Wookie. A lot of util, a lot of damage here.
I think it's mostly the damage from that S2, because S2 does some absurd amounts of damage. So we've been seeing a lot of Xu all in SN10, I think. That's the most that I've seen her used. And I'm honestly a little surprised that it took her this long, but I guess the other usage might have been more key than XUL just for big number. But, well, we're going to get to big number eventually, as big number has been taken away. So that's going to mix things up, because that will definitely slow down some kill times at this point.
Yes, definitely will. We've seen last time that we've seen teams start with Exia Alter and really rely on SN10 to just melt the boss away and hold down lanes, being consistent there and being a unique archetype to kind of avoid some of these contingencies. So seeing that puck out of play just really will bring I believe, kind of like level the playing field, or we might see different options for DPS, although it might be hard to replace the amount of DPS Exia Alter does.
I mean, the only similar comparison of just raw big number would probably be someone like a Wishadel, but you never got the chance to use Wishadel because, well, Wishadel kind of doesn't too much, so she never even got a chance. So I'm curious to see how this is going to affect the SN10 matchups, as again, that is as we've seen in some of the leads that people get in SN10, that translates over and it's held on, right? You make it to the front and you're just able to hold on to your lead to the end before, your anchors, right? Your closers at the end are able to catch up to you. So all of a sudden, maybe you're going to have a little less of a lead because you're not able to get that kill that fast. Might see narrower leads, right?
Possibly, or sub in. I could, off the top of my head, I could think of just one operator, possibly Ella. I mean, being a specialist, but not a geek, but being able to be versatile, being placed on both ground and range units. We might see that swap in for Exia. Then again, teams might go for a different route or a different strategy for this ban, of course.
Kind of still surprised that Virtuosa still hasn't gotten banned yet. Cause I'm looking at Virtuosa, like, I'm seeing a lot of uses of Virtuosa, both on SN10 and on ICS4. Alternatively, maybe it's like, all right, we're gonna whack her for finals. maybe they're holding on to that one. It's like, we see the usage, but hold on, we want to see what happens later on.
Yeah, it might be hard to whack her out because she provides a lot in these maps of dodgy boys, both on the SN10 and also IC. We have dodge people, and Virtuosa not only is able to take care of them with elemental damage, but also just be on auto deploy or auto skill and not take time in the bullet time, of course.
Yeah, as well. Let's see how our bracket looks after BK got knocked out by Chud. Who will be facing Chud? Let's find out here. Drum roll. As our top bracket, surprise to no one's surprise, has not changed, as Do Not has been sitting in their comfy grand final chair for a little bit. As FBY, the plot armor path is still alive as they move on to face Chud, the winner of which will go on to take on Team Ash. So it's the battle of Team Chud with Tobo versus Blue, and again, the plot armor of Path versus Tobo. And well, honestly, a lot of copy pasta from Tobo. Like, seriously, every time I see Tobo raids, like, it's a lot of copy pastas.
Yeah, that's where we're gonna be. Hopefully that energy translates to the match. Crush Heartily Undulate Dubiously versus Fishbird Yuri. Let's see. I'm ready for it. I am so ready for it, Wookie. Just adding on to their team that does invoke enduring silliness. This match is going to be one for the books.
Yeah, reminder also that the contingency is the same. This is the same contingency. The arc. Just remember. Also, Azzy, I believe, also does play Fish. This is going to be Fish fighting against Fish. Oh my god, we're just having Civil War after Civil War in this bracket. What have we done?
Right, we have Blue Triple X over here going off with Azzy. And let's see. I guess the best Fish wins, Wookie. The best Fish wins.
So, like, yeah, does the winner of this one become, like, the Fish player, or is it like, or is the winner, you know, or like, is the loser, can they no longer be like top Fish until they beat, like, is that like a crown they gotta fight over? I also realized, I see Boo Boo's also in chat. We have another Fish in chat. The Fish watching the that's a lot of fish in this matchup here.
A lot of fishes here. We're about to be into the Shark Tank pretty quickly here, and like we were talking about, going back to the Virtuosa ban, or Virtuosa possibility of being banned. Virtuosa possibility. She's not banned, but we were talking about the possibility. But yeah, she does enable a lot here. It's going to be cool to see what both teams do for their squads here as we go into the contingency here,
which I believe should be the archetype one.
Yeah.
Yep, it is still the archetype one. So, well, that's one less geek that can get passed around because, well, Exu Walter here. Which, again, I'm really curious to see how that'll affect people's SN10s, because that's where I've been seeing her the most, right? It's just, you know, delete end speaker in half a second. So I'm really curious here, as it will be Blue of Chud taking it again. Still same archetype, worked out for the last time. You know, why change it, right? It's already been working. And Boulder opting for the ban on SN10 here. So we'll see what Boulder opts for and what he'll lock his teammates out of.
It might be looking like, based on the previous squad, maybe the Deadeye archetypes here, and just locking down again Schwartz, I'm assuming, being set up in the top right lane, taking care of the middle red tile, top right tile, and Chubai here, you know, taking care of the anomalies that happen and all the trash mobs that come in. But we'll be seeing soon as we get into this match.
We'll see how much Boulder's initial the initial ban, taking that contingency for Boulder. What kind of it's probably gonna try to go for more of a homogenous squad, right? Less archetypes, the better, as that is a lot of marksmen. That's a ritualist being used. I think that's artificers, and what else? We got swordmasters being used, and let's see, we got ambushers being used as well. So still kind of a mix, but I think that shouldn't affect down the line. It shouldn't really affect down the line. Actually, no, I'm looking at the wrong side. That's not Boulder. I looked at the wrong side. Boulder opting for incantation medics instead, and I think that's a chain medic too. And Thorn's ult.
Yes, Thorn's ult coming in, being an unexpected pick here, but we've seen before being able to put in the work. Let's see how Boulder is able to position him here. We have, I believe that is Cruz ult on Tobo's side. I would say underrated pick, just to help out. Spec ult to take out the left side red tile and cover her doll form here. We have Arketo absolutely mowing down End Speaker here, and yeah, same Schwartz placements here.
Same Schwartz placements here. Boulder continuing to opt for the read ult. Now that the XU ult isn't able to be used, you do have that read ult, as you see in the read ult S2 sandwich, for the amount of raw arch damage I can pump out there. As again, Boulder is ahead by about a couple kills here, faster killgate spawns, as End Speaker does get toasted again. Poor little guy.
Yeah, it's not looking good for him. Ash with the Arketo combo. Is it enough?
Oh,
it's not looking like it. He's gonna have to pull out Stainless, pulling out the contingency, able to mow it down, but Chen is taking damage from that goop. Let's see if that was intentional, taking hits and just getting destroyed by the snipers. Oh, and going down here. Let's see how this affects later on in the run, if that was intentional or not. But it is pretty close. Boulder and FBY having the slight kill advantage here. Tobo seeing the final form here. End Speaker screaming, is it going to be enough DPS? We have the bind. Pathlin taking on the next map for FBY here. Let's see if it's enough for Tobo.
I mean, well, Pathlin does have to, there are operators that Pathlin isn't going to be able to use here because of type ban, but the lack of XU Alter has actually crippled Tobo's kill time on this map. End Speaker is still alive, as Tobo is just trying to get the kill here. As I mean, you gotta activate the Golden Glow skill, just pray at this point. Like, that is so much time lost compared to versus when the XU Alter is up. The XU Alter crutch is no longer there. Arketo just doesn't have that same damage output as, I mean, look at the lead that Path has at this point.
Yeah, it's a 13 kill lead now, and only going up as we're speaking. We do have Bloop coming in with the crushers. Hopefully the base damage is enough to go through, going for the same Hoderer bottom right setup here, as Pathlin is in the lead with Blemy and Narutuya in the top right over there.
I think the kill here is going to come down. I think what's going to happen right now is basically just if Path and Blue don't have to reset, then time-wise, I think they'll be okay with their setups, because they both go they're all opting for spawn kill setups. So at this point, it's just slow and steady wins it, right? Because we've seen Bloops clear in DHX 8CM against Boykissers, where he lost actually quite a bit of time with those crushers versus a Fang specialist comp. So it is not the fastest comp, and time is not on their side here, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it is not, but it is a pill we're going to have to swallow with the special crew here, trying to prove crushers have the might to take it. Quartz in the top right, taking down the jet ski. We have Pathlin already just chilling and just getting the kill gates down, and just getting set up with Virtuosa again. We're being seen here in the top left corner, and it's gonna be these small changes that make a huge difference that Chud is going to have to make to catch up already on the third map that Pathlin cleared for Blue Triple X.
I mean, okay, I'm not gonna lie, seeing that Martial usage, that made me pretty happy. Seeing that Martial usage, like, puts a smile on my face. As Blue goes into this map with about, something like a 10 or 11 kill lead going in here, As well, the spawn camps are set up, and that is a Praminix being used, which also makes me happy, and a Simulate Turna. I think she set on S2 for the true damage, as I think Blue just opted for true. Blue just like, screw it, forget Fizz, forget Arza, just true damage. Vita Victoria being the funny example of Arts Guard looks inside true damage.
Absolutely, and we're learning from previous encounters of the stage. Blue sticking with that early deployment, as you said, as Vina, the true damage. Blue coming in, finally clearing it. We have a slight lead here from 5 kills, and actually Minimalist already on BlueXXX.com here. He's going down. It's going down. Minimalist already second phase. Vina's ready with her sword in her hand and ready to reclaim here. And Azzy over here just setting up with the Saria for the face whackers, as we've seen, and Mizuki for the constant damage here.
At this point for Blue, it's just, you know, the only thing you need to do is just don't leak, right? You're in a good spot. Minimalist is gonna die very shortly. Uh-oh. That's not looking good.
Oh!
That's not looking good!
From Blue, and how the tables have turned as he's now sitting in front here.
Okay, that might have been a caster cursor. I will say it for the last time. Like, don't goof this up. Don't goof this up. Don't reset it. And then there was a reset.
There's a reset. Thorn staring down Minimalist as he's sleeping. Mizuki laying down his tentacles, not letting him move. We're gonna get the kill as Blue X is trying to get back into the map and set himself up. Pancreas and Chubai combo, bottom right, still going hard. That Exia, Suzerain, and Sculptor buff is looking right. Even though Exia ult is banned, we do have some power that we might have forgot from the original Exia if certain buffs do take place, which we can see here.
And now, now I say the same thing to Azzy that I said. I gotta have equal application, right? At this point of, all right, Azzy, don't mess this up, which is looking like he's not messing it up. Blue, you had the fish crown. You had it in your hand, and you just dropped your spaghetti all over your fishies. Azzy's like, ooh, free spaghetti.
Azzy is sitting right here. He has the contingencies for this map, as we are always talking about tonight, for the face whackers and the dodge boys. It seems he's got his bases covered. Let's see if Blue XXX can take down Minimalist relatively fast. Vina is waiting with her Excalibur, and will it be enough? Will it be enough? It seems Azzy has his bases covered, but it's down to, like you said, just finishing strong here as the last few enemies come by.
He doesn't. Yep. As Azzy makes the comeback, after that, just you hate to see that kind of just crippling stumble, but that's JO. You know, you gotta play mistake free. You just gotta play mistake free. As Chud able to overcome that Exu alt nerf that, I'm gonna be honest, kind of kneecapped Togo really hard there. Managed to come back from that from like an 11 kill lead that FBY had going to that. As Chud moves on to face Ash. Big congrats to Chud. Can we get an 07 for Fishburger, as Patholin's plot armor has now officially run out?
But not without a good fight. And it was close. It was close, and again, IC taking yet another turn of events, just completely flipping the script here. Maybe it was intentional. It is the last map. It does make for some good matchups here. And again, we see it here where, again, just consistency will basically lead you to victory here in this case.
It's just, you just gotta play mistake free. You know, like, you didn't have any time rush there. You didn't have to worry about any of that. And it's just, you just hate to see that happen. You're like, that is unfortunately just snatching victory, or snatching defeat from the jaws of victory there, which is like the worst feeling. So hope Blue doesn't, beat himself up too bad, but I hope he's having a good laugh about it. But man, you hate to see it from a caster side of view.
Right, and with that, I'll take some time to ponder on that as we have our second intermission tonight. So go ahead, grab some water, grab some more popcorn, sit back, and we will be right back shortly.
we return. Hope you guys
We
were able to get some snacks and drinks.
Yeah, we're back. We're back and we're ready to go. Heading into the final games here, and we're not getting a break here. We're going straight to the ban hammer, the incremental bans that we're gonna be getting tonight, Wookie. Let's see. Let's see what we have waiting for us.
Surely it's Virtuosa this time, right? I can't be wrong like 8 times in a row. For this, I'll just blame medkits or something. I don't know. Surely. Hey!
There we go. All right, so we see the great enabler, the great lane holder, and of course, consistent pick overall in this tournament, Virtuosa taking the ban hit. Not surprising, Wookie. Like you said, not surprising.
Meanwhile, I'm here just going, woo, my dragons are being spared. I don't see a single dragon on this ban list. Woo!
Yeah, and just like, I was maybe thinking you would be on there, but let's see how the bracket shapes up for us as we go in and see what teams are going to be facing up against this incremental ban. Yeah, it's gonna hurt. Of course, we have Donut sitting on there, but oh, Ash versus Chud in the final of the bottom bracket. Ooh, this one.
Who moves on to face Do Not because, well, between Ash and Chud, that is that Virtuosa, that comfort layer of, being able to deal with the dodgy seaboard. That's gone. Or if you're using Virtuosa to deal with Minimalist, right, to get that quick Virtue Nymph combo on Minimalist, that is now gone as well. I mean, you're also going to have to be affected by, the contingencies. So, we've seen not in Tuya setups. I think Blue was opting for a Civilite Eterna setup. We've seen a lot of setups to be able to kill Minimalist for ICS4, but I'm now wondering how much that's going to affect people for that for the red box camping on SN10 as well, because those are the 2 places we saw the most.
Yes, of course, and we were seeing. I could think off the top of my head for that minimalist setup instead of Nymph Virtuosa. We have Exia buff teams. I mean Sculptor, Suzerain still fair game, but yeah, we're gonna be going into contingencies quick. But yeah, it might be a problem with this much DPS and enabling gone.
Yeah, I'm wondering if speaking of interest, here's the contingency that they're going to have to adjust to. Fresh one. What's fresh off the press with this contingency? Supply shortage. Map mechanics are banned and cannot be deployed. So, no little handy. No stickers or tiles for the DH maps. No using the cars for ICS4. And squad size -2.
Dang, just to add, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it does also stack, as this is a best of 3. So if we go all the way to that 3rd map, I believe it will affect every single member of the squad. So it's like one person, or of the team, right? So whoever takes it first, whatever their map mechanic is, that's gone, right? Next map, another person has to take it. If they go to map 3, everyone has to take it. So you want to win in 2 maps if you're not confident in your 3rd.
Yeah, and just getting rid of, again, more safety nets here. Little handy stickers, tiles, cards, things that have saved previous runs. I mean, Tobo having shortcoming of damage because Exu alt ban is not going to have that safe haven of little handy to help out. So hopefully he has something cooked up in his strategy list so he can just pull it out and no problem. Otherwise, he might be in some deep goop.
Speaking of goop, I'm thinking that little handy for both players is probably going to be the last one, because being able to clear out that Seaborn goop has been, we've seen every team do it. No one's really just like, oh, we'll just let it spread and just do some damage. So I imagine that has to be the last one, right? Like everything else you can manage with it with just, various forms of damage or blocking or something, right? But that one, whew.
Right, we're just, again, Golden Glow is still up there for SN10, but it may not be enough with all of the safety nets going out. I mean, Lapland being banned and now Little Handy. We're gonna have to, we're cutting down the errors that can be made and just refining our strategies and just seeing what comes out of it. Let's see if both teams have it down, or maybe we're gonna see some resets. Let's see.
I mean, DHX8CM is probably also going to be one that gets affected a bit because you don't have stickers, but you also don't have what I'm going to call the floaties, right? You got your floating tiles. That's also a map mechanic. So you can no longer set up, you can't just plop down at you in the middle of the ocean. And he's standing there all confused, like, what am I doing here? But you can't just plop them down there to stop the swimmers, right? The invisible swimmers, you can't stop that. You can't spawn camp the boats anymore, right? Like anywhere you want to try to spawn camp in the water, you can't anymore. So this is going to mix up a lot of players' comps depending on who takes that ban first. I mean, debatably the easiest ban is going to be the ICS4 one, because if you have enough damage, you can clear without using the cards. The cards are a nice safety measure, but you can absolutely kill without cards. You just have to change your setup a little. So,
right, and I'm just thinking, on top of not being able to get to the kill gates on the second map, it also makes it so you can't deploy any operator on those tiles, because some teams were taking advantage that you can deploy both range and melee on those tiles to really set up some kill gates. But now, just playing on a map without those opportunities, we're going into the bare bones set to see who really did their homework, mapped out every single strat, and really has it down. We might be seeing some more longer range operators for it, but operators like Lemon and Typhon being out, options may be limited. I'm trying to think off the top of my head who can replace them, because they would be perfect for this contingency. But yeah,
I mean, you got Rosa is an option that people could use if you. Okay, look, this is me being totally biased, but like if you defend Shred with someone else, Taudifon's S1 does exist. However, I might also realize that I might be the only one of the few people insane enough to use a Taudifon's S1. So we'll have to see if people want to opt for that range, or if they're just opting for, because like I can't imagine they'll just be okay with waiting, right? Because again, with the tiles being bad, it's not only you can't put an operator on, you can't put down the tile at all. So if you want to try to get like the invisible swimmers out of the water for a second, so you can pop them in the face as they come out of the water, you can't do that either.
Right, and on top of that, we're about to see who's going to take this debuff. Hopefully, it's going to be someone. Oh, okay. So here we go. K90 going from Team Ash, going on the final map here. Oh, we're not going to be able to use those carts. It seems like our strat may need some more reworking for our squad, but it's still. I do believe that this map might be the most manageable of the three.
Yeah, because like the way I'm seeing this, right? Like the carts aren't like, I imagine the players at this phase, they've kind of probably prepared that they're not going to be able to use the carts or something, right? Where the cart slows things down. The carts are very powerful. We've been joking that the carts are level 7-star operator. Okay, on the side of Chud, it's going to be like I said, both ICS4 being taken here, because like I said, if your setup is good enough, the carts are we're just going to help you out a little, but it's not a make or break like for DHX8CM or SN10. So that's going to be interesting. Again, also squad size -2, so a little less squad size that players can play with, but I imagine the squad size is the least of their problems coming up, because, I mean, you look at Azzy, he's all right, cool. Like, you're going to, I can't use a full squad. Oh no, whatever shall I do, right? I mean, same on side of Katie, you saw the squad. Oh no, I'm still just going to bring like 7 or 9 operators. Oh no. But that might affect things down left for SN10.
Right. I mean, the lack of operators that they've been practicing with, as you mentioned, we're gonna see it. It might be easier for them to, start off and adapt to this contingency, the -2 deploy limit. But we are seeing a pause here.
Just waiting for both players to load in so we can start at the same time. As soon as me will in, I believe we will be starting. I think there's the confirmation or something going on the back end, but I believe they will be getting the go signal very soon here. again, this is a best of 3. So you do if you goof it up a little bit, don't worry. You know, it is a best of 3. You can still run it back with a reverse sweep.
That is correct, Wookie. We do have, again, Exia usage here, not Alter, because she is a banned, of course. We do have Surfer set up in the top right, and it's looking like Ak is being used from Topo, coming from the co-op mode, bringing him over to join op. We are going to be seeing some crazy Ak strats, I hope, but it looks like he's just holding down lane as he is able to give that CC to handle difficult mobs.
Yeah, Ak is actually being used for CC here. Actually, pretty good cover by Tobo. The question here is, how will Tobo deal with End Speaker? I think that is a Rosa being brought out to deal with End Speaker now, because after the great Arketo incident of about 10 minutes ago, Tobo's like, I gotta have something. I gotta have better. Yeah, there's a Rosa. Yeah, okay. But Miwa with quite a commanding lead at the moment, up 33-25. But kill gates are significantly ahead here. Going for the cam. No Reed Alter being used on the side of Miwa. Perhaps preparing for a future Reed Alter ban, maybe?
Possibly. There's a lot of contenders for that ban as we're heading into the next phase here. But that Rosa seems to be doing Tobo wonders. Just instead of going for that fast attack, we're going for that high damage here just to lock things down. We do have a Windflit down right next to Rosa, as I believe another condition just for the leaks. End Speaker goes down 44-53. The gap is kind of widening here. We do have similar Schwartz set up by Miwa on Ashe, and it's looking good here as we go into the final phase of End Speaker.
See both players using quite a bit of little handy, so I'm looking at this like both of these players are probably praying that they're able to take it in two rounds without having to. If that little handy gets denied, it's gonna get really awkward really quick. Oh yeah, Tobo's like, I'm bringing more damage. I'm not dealing with the great Arketo incident of 10 minutes ago.
Right, we're just bringing that extra little damage, extra little safety net that hasn't been banned out. Blue versus Amelie on DH, EX8, CM, and we're gonna be going off Vigil, Fang, alt start, it seems.
Amelie being able to get that quicker start thanks to Miwa setting them up ahead of time. Right now, again, taking as much advantage of using the as they can, because after this round, you know, the quote-unquote easier ban is no longer there. So I'm really curious to see how much the strats are going to be affected once the stacking contingency adds up.
Right, and as it stacks up on the map maker, the final map, we are seeing true damage here on Amelie's side, taking down Poncho. We are struggling. Bloop is struggling with Hoder over there, just soloing boss. He's able to solo it, but we do lose a bit of time here. We do have wind chimes on the case, and Quartz, of course, in the top right to handle the kill gates up there.
Bloop trying to even up the kill count here. Amelie's still ahead a bit. Again, Poncho is dead. Spawns are coming out a lot faster. Bloop is trying to spawn camp, get these kills as quickly as he can. But I mean, Crushers with their relatively lower attack speed, you know, lower DPS output, high damage per hit, but lower damage, you know, lower overall damage, right? Because it's gonna take him a few swings to chunk through something. As I believe, unless Amelie, you know, makes a silly goof, that will mean that Ashe is able to go to the third map with a significant advantage, which, as we see it on ICS4, it can be good things, or for whatever reason, players will choke a little bit.
Yeah, and hopefully that doesn't happen here. It seems like we have all the annoyances covered here. We do have Gnosis in the bottom left, Amelie taking it out with a fragile, and is just commanding that lead, holding on. We have the upper rights taken care of. We do have Marcel substituting for Lemon here, taking the map. Bloop still on, struggling along, but not too far behind here as Ashe goes in to the final and notorious ICS4.
As Keenan loads in here, getting that early start, probably ahead by, I want to say, roughly 5-6 kills here. As again, there will be no cart usage, so I see Keenan just opting for the you know what? If I just set up back here, nothing will be able to get through that U because I could just warp them to me. The just in case, which, you know what? Honestly, with how much of a lead that you have, play it safer, right? You have enough of a lead. If you trust your strategy, if you know that it's fast enough, you don't have to be the fastest. You just have to be fast enough. As monster being said, I think that's a I want to say that's a monster S. No, that should be a monster S2. As oh, there it is. There's the read all in US3 combo that mentioned with Virtuosa being bombed.
Yeah, and it seems that it's having a bit of trouble going through the shield here. Let's get a little bit more amp. Monster's sitting at the ready, but Minimalist is chilling inside of his aerial dome. Here, we're going for the safe setup as he's got his setup. Exia going down with that Suzerain Sculptor, being able to take down Minimalist phase 1. Monster is still waiting. Minimalist is going to be able to take map control over on Ash's side, making enemies invisible on top of their dodge. Has Ash set up a little bit too close to the blue box? Or is this all intended here?
I feel like we're going to see a reset here. I'm looking at, like, Minimalist still alive. And, yeah. Listen, well, I'm going to have a running tally of players I've cursed on ICS4 this round. I really should stop speaking on this map at this point, I think.
Yeah, it's rough. It's definitely rough, Wookie. It seems Azzy just has this map down, though. Sorry for the face whackers, Chubai Pancreas for the Dodge Boys, and of course the notorious Exu regular with the Sculptor and tried and true Suzerain combo with the just overall consistency. Let's see how K9 Zero is able to bounce back from this, taking a bit more time into the loading screen to see who he needs to really just flesh out and get the core base of his roster out on the field.
Honestly, though, props to Azzy for how consistent that comp is. I mean, look at him. He doesn't care. He's like, all right, I don't have this. I don't need this anyway. Like, he's already set up for this. Like, unless he accidentally retreats someone, I think he should be able to hold on. I mean, Thorns is up and active. The damage risk coming through. Face Whacker is coming in, about to just eat it. I mean, look at how much shred that was, right? As Azzy and Team Chud take the first round of this best of 3. Wow. Has the plot armor of Patlin transferred over to them?
I do not know, Wookie, but K9 Zero going in, still trying to clear it, but it was, again, consistency that we've been seeing with ICS4, and the face whackers, covering the dodge, and not letting Minimalist take map control and make everyone invisible, just preventing that, finding the combination from the non-ban operators so we can get it out here.
Yeah, again, reminder, this is a best of 3, so Team Ash is not out of it yet. They have one more life to give right now, because if they do lose this, that will be a sweep by Chud. But, you know, maybe the Rubus is backwards. Maybe it'll be maybe a reverse sweep. Because now, as we've mentioned, the more, let's just say, more critical bans are starting to come in, because the floaty's getting taken. It's either going to be floaties or it's going to be, right? And it's how confident are you in your strats without the floaty or the little handy? Because, I mean, if you're on Team Chud, you know, Azzy's, you know Azzy's like your anchor. He is your solid rock. He's been able to just sustain that through, even regardless of the advantages that other teams have had, right? Whereas on the side of Ash, it's like, okay, well, how do you adapt to that ICS4, right? Who do you change out? Because read alt S3, trying to take down Minimalist, even with the US3, it's not, I mean, especially for shield chunking, if you're not able to get HP damage, I don't believe you're going to be able to get as much of that elemental damage to proc on through, right? Which is why you tend to see Blaze ult being used more for read versus read ult. Read ult very good at clearing mass waves, but against boss targets, the S3 has a lot less value.
Right, and it seems like from as he's really consistent clear, he's not using crazy operators for the boss kill here. He's using Exia, Sculptor, and Suzerain, a very old combo here, and it's still working here in a competitive scene, flying under the radar of the bans. if I were going against that, I would try to find something similar, probably. Maybe going for Sculptor, Suzerain, and then another DPS that, scales really well with those debuffs and is able to really just get Minimalist off the field so we can finally just have some just stability in the runs.
Yeah, because I mean, we've seen the stable, but it's like the second that stability is lost, right? Like you mentioned, when Minimal is able to kind of take map control, he's gonna start dropping buffs on the enemy units. He's gonna start nuking your units, and just overall becomes a giant pain to deal with, because he'll float out of your kill box that you have set up. Your lovingly set up kill. I have too much shield. I'm out of here, right? Floats away. Like, what do? You can't do anything because he's floating away. You can't block him. He's flying. So that kind of really mixes up how you have to take that boss on.
Right, and again, we might see some off meta picks, maybe possibly a contrail to block him if there's not enough DPS, or because it's really vital to stop him from getting to the middle of the map, because usually what we've been seeing is in the top right corner we set up for Minimalist phase 2, and if he gets too far on the map, then your setup is kind of nuked. So it'll be important to just completely get rid of him, or just a possibility contrail block Minimalist here.
Honestly, I kind of want to see that. Someone try to go for that. Because it's so out of the box where it's like, I mean, you can do that now. I don't know how long. It's like, I mean, if he doesn't shoot your contrail, he's not like a UFO. He's not going to laser you out of the sky, right? So it's like, that's an option. But I mean, if you're Azzy, right? If you're Azzy, you don't care.
True.
But on the side of Keenan, it's like, do you swap your read alt for like a Blaze alt instead? Just for the higher damage output? Or what do you opt for on that end, right? Because I'm willing to bet that Keenan was running that Virtue Nymph combo that finally got whacked. But, so it's like, how do you adjust to that? Azzy, on the other hand, like you said, an old classic strat, right? The Exu Suzu Sculptor, right? The old, we've seen this one been around for a while, but it works.
Yeah, and just thinking of some possible people, I mean, we still have Ela hitting hard, is able to fragile and slow some of the enemies. Of course, not Minimalist in his first phase because he's flying, but the util might be useful here just to get that extra coordination going, extra just safety nets that have been banned, and just lock everything down with DPS. So maybe Ela, but yeah, it's really tough to say. It's hard to beat what Azzy has going for right now.
Yeah, what I want to see now, though, because the bans do stack, right? So now who's going to be the one that takes the next one? Keenan is taking that ICS4 ban still, as Azzy is, I believe, taking his. As Miwa, Miwa is opting for the SN10 ban. So no more little handy. The Seaboard goop will stay unless you have some form of silence to try to deny that. Maybe we see a Proviso get brought out, but if you bring out a Proviso, that's one of the high ground tiles at that top right spawn camp that you're not going to be able to use with a different high ground unit anymore if you're opting to silence enemies. So I'm curious to see how they adjust to that. Again, as he taking the ban for ICS4, it's who's taking the ban after that? Tobo taking the ban for SN10.
Ooh.
I mean, go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, okay. I'm just like, Tobo has found a way to make it work, whether it's through Ak or whether it's through Rosa. I want to see what he has cooking here, because I'm sure he is up for the challenge. He wants redemption from the last time, and we're going to see it tonight. We are definitely going to see it tonight.
Actually, with the way Tobo's been setting up, he's actually been letting the Nethersea brand spread on the end speaker side. He doesn't care about that. It's really only that top horizontal lane where, with the reef breakers that spawn the bus for the end speaker, that's really the only spot that I've seen him use that little handy in. So if he doesn't have to use it there, he's probably got like maybe a Silver Ash setup, an Inez setup, some kind of a Viz reveal, right? I think he might actually be more prepared for this than we may think, as we'll see, as there's the Ak. I think Tobo opting for the same setup here.
Yeah, and like you said, Silver Ash over here is still a very powerful pick that we haven't been really seeing, kind of flying under the radar here, which might be pivotal in these final matches here. Just again, Cruise Alt over on Tobo's side. It looks like Ash is opting for the same Exia and Liskarm battery. And again, Schwartz placement top right, been like a classic E4 pawn move, just straight textbook move here.
Is that a scene set? I think that's a scene on the side of Miwa, opting to use those 2 protected ground tiles for invis reveal when necessary, and then just having logos pop them as soon as they're revealed. So kind of a different setup coming out from each player. I don't think, was that Schwartz supposed to die?
We're gonna have to see.
No, she was not.
And this reset from Miwa. Oh no. Okay, so Tobo seems that he's got the lead here. A very sizable lead here, 34 to starting screen here. It's looking pretty safe. We got the same Rosa here. We do have the Schwartz E4 move. We have Ak covering all of the stuns. It's just gonna come down to, is the end speaker in the right position for the kill? And
he's moving up. End speaker's moving up.
He's moving out of Rosa's range.
He is now out of Rosa's range, but he does go down. Golden Globe available for deployment again. But the invisibility reveal is not there from Inez. That's looking a little... Okay, there she is again. But out of Schwartz range, what do? The invisible reef breakers are going through, as I think we might see another reset from Tobo here. Because he got the reef breaker on the bottom. He's going... There's nothing to stop him.
There is no DPS being available. We're seeing the reset from Tobo here. Now it flips over to Miwa having the advantage here, going still for the safe Exia Liskarm on the left side, and on the top right, classic Schwartz play with Logos, just going to take down the boss before End Speaker gets away, as we saw with Tobo here, just covering all those bases again.
Yeah, it's all of a sudden it starts getting a little scarier because, well, you can't reveal the reef breakers anymore. You need an Inez there, but now Inez has to, possibly cover 2 lanes, right? And that's when you see the reef breakers start scaling up. I've been joking to call them potential trees because it gotta look like a Christmas tree. I've been calling them potential trees, but that potential is being realized here. So, it's getting spicy on SN10.
It is, and usually this is kind of a map that we've seen that has been pretty consistent with teams, but now with supply shortage, we're seeing some inconsistencies now, and a test of how are you able to adapt to this. And right now, Miwa commanding a 52-12 lead. Let's see if Miwa does have this down. Reef breaker whacking. We have seen coverage to take down the invisibility, and it's looking right for Ash here.
Logo's skill not quite... Okay, there it is. I was like, that logo skill wasn't quite up there, but that caught it in time. Texile S2 plus Logos S3 takes out End Speaker. Look a little scary there for a second, but they're good to go.
Right here, and we're going on the second map. Ash, Tobo trying to follow through here. Let's see if we can keep End Speaker in the top right tile so they stay in Rosa's range, and also command. We just need to take control of that top right tile before End Speaker gets out, and also the reef breakers get out. All our DPS is there. Ak really has to hit those stuns, has to hit those CCs in order to get it, but we're seeing a pretty textbook Inez on the right, and we're seeing noses on the bottom left from Amelie.
Amelie being the only one not affected by the contingencies at the moment, so trying to be able to pad out enough of a lead in case Keenan has to reset, because we did see a reset from Keenan in the previous match, or in the previous round, so having that extra buffer might be all he needs to be able to take it out over Azzy. But we'll have to see. The Reef Breaker is moving up though. That's starting to look a little scary. Never mind, Inez being able to take him out. Tobo's got this at this point. There's just End Speaker up as well. Rosa's skill isn't up there. That's a little scary that the Rosa skill isn't up, but I think the damage should be enough for End Speaker. Yep, damage is through. Tobo is good to go, as the gates will be open in one more kill for Bloop to move on.
Bloop has a lot to cover here. Let's see if he changed up his Crusher strategy to help out to lessen the gap here, because we do know from the past that Bloop has a slightly slower kill time because of the Hodor in the bottom.
It turns out it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Oh my! Shut takes the lead as Ash makes. Oh no!
The
no!
Oh, is real.
And here, tables have flipped here. Oh no! Oh no! Here, Crushers, can they pull through? Will they? We're actually seeing Crusher lead from tonight here. Let's see Hodor tank Poncho as Ash and Omli go back to the drawing board here.
Omli, you were set. You didn't have to. You didn't have to take the. You weren't worried about the contingency bans. You didn't have to take any bans. You were clean. What happened? That was map 2. It's so consistent. I'm like in disbelief that happened on map 2.
A little bit confusion there, but as Bloop is able to hold it down with Crusher's Quartz taking care of the jet skis. Of course, Ulpius in the top left. Wind chimes on Poncho right now. Let's see, do we have any able to take him down here as Omli is able to get this stage started here.
Yes, get it, stay sharp, but you're down half a map now. You were up half a map, and now you're down half a map. Just a super reversal here as, well, I mean, that's the nature of this band, though, right? Ironically, it happened on the single map that wasn't, which is like, what happened on the single map that wasn't, man? But here we are, as, you know, Bloop just has to get through the map to open up for Azzy, as, you know, all right, Azzy, you've been on the beneficial end of my cat far. You just gotta not goof it up. You've been an anchor for your team so far. You just gotta be consistent. Can you anchor it for your team and not reset? Same for Blue. Can either of you just make sure that you deal with the last enemies so that Bloop can sidestep the ban?
You know, Wookie, we've been joking about not talking about what's been consistent because usually the opposite happens. So I hope that what you've said does not come to fruition, as Bloop is setting a good time for the opening of map 3 for Azzy. Consistent runs, we've seen it ICS 4. Let's see if Azzy still got it, as Amelie is still continuing to just catch up here with the Nosa set up in the bottom left and just kill gating with Mudrock in the top right.
How many people have been cursed so far today? So I'm thinking about this. How many people have been cursed?
Oh man. Yeah, same Sculptor Suzerain setup. We're gonna be seeing the Exia pretty soon with the Mizuki and phase 2. Let's see, Amelie, we're gonna have to work some miracles, but we do believe here. We are believers here. Yeah, just all the bases covered as he has this down to a T. We do have Fragiles going down Amelie's side to help clear out a bit faster. So
Minimalist already going down on the side of Azzy, just gunned down by Exu, as again, it's been a very consistent setup from Azzy and kind of just incremental ban proof, because I mean, I don't think he's had to change his squad like at all from the incremental bans. He's cruising through ICS 4, as now again, it's just a matter of, you know, just stay consistent, be that anchor, have all your bases covered, and you will get through this map, as Keenan is able to start the map. I'm kind of curious to see what adjustments Keenan made. Oh, I think Keenan has opted for a KOB now to deal with Minimalist. KOB with Sculptor, yeah, to deal with Minimalist instead of the Read Alt US3 combo.
Right, and we're seeing maybe Keenan took some plays out of Azzy's book, setting Kyobi in where Exia would be for Azzy, and maybe seeing that Suzerain play with Kyobi, getting that extra attack from her defense module, and setting up Monster for phase 2, as Azzy is just clearing the map, having a good time, and just having that consistent, like what you said, Wookie, anchoring, especially on an inconsistent map that we've been seeing tonight on ICS 4.
I mean, again, people kind of poke on, oh, Exu regular has been crept, and Azzy's here's like, maybe she's crept for current meta, but the maps we're playing on aren't necessarily current meta. It's older maps, and hey, the old school's Exia still has some of the most absurd damage in the game against enemies that don't have defense. As Azzy, avoids the caster curse and is able to hold on to consistency. Get your brooms out because that is a sweep by Chud to move on in this lower bracket finals. Do not now knows their opponent.
Man, chat help undulating undulating dubiously doesn't invoke enduring silliness. Able to pull it through. It was amazing effort by Team Ash, and just it just comes down to remembering, I guess, on the second map, it seems like Omni would had some troubles there, but just that little difference made a big difference in the end. But nonetheless, a very good effort from Ash. We will be seeing Chud in the finals here.
Can we get a round of applause for Ash for making a wonderful turn run? Just unfortunate at the very end. You hate to see it happen, but that's the nature of JO and the contingency.
Yeah, and I'm going into the finals, Wookie. I can't wait to see what the TOs have cooked for this final contingency.
The contingencies, incremental bans, like, ooh, it's gonna get real spicy now.
Absolutely, and the final incremental ban, just theory crafting here. Someone who's been really consistent here. Again, I'm gonna predict that Schwartz may be one of them. Seeing her amazing use in SN10 and just being pivotal for the defense shred, along with taking care of the Reef Breaker that spawns in the top middle red box.
The question for me is, I'm wondering if this'll, like, how much will the incremental ban affect Do Not, though? Because from what we've seen of their comps, there's not a whole lot of, like, big expected 6-stars, right? We haven't really seen X when we saw them play. We didn't, I don't know if we saw a read alt there, but you have options other than read alts. Like, they've been playing with a lot more off-meta, lower-star options, where are they just able to sidestep the incremental bans completely?
Yeah, like, we've seen it before, sidestepping and just going under the radar, just Exia regular, coming off and just going under the radar, just remembering that year one operators still got it.
And I've also been provided that, with a little bit of info that Do Not actually won against Chud to send them to the lower brackets at the start of the tourney. This is not the salty run back that Ash would have had. This is, in fact, the saltiest run back that we could have had, and then made it all the way back. This is a grudge match and a half here.
Oh, wow. And that fire, oh man, it leads you places, and it makes your decisions, and tonight we're just seeing all those decisions come into fruition, and that's what joint op is. That's what joint op is. But next up, we're going to be seeing the matchup here. We all know and love. It's going to be, we all know it. But before that, let's get into the incremental bans. The final incremental ban of tonight. Wookie.
I actually don't know for this one. It might be read alt, but I don't know. It's kind of a mix. It's like, how do you ban out what, like, how do you, it's like, is it going to affect Do Not at all? That's my question, right? Is it going to affect them?
I might. Again, I'm sticking to Schwartz, but it's anyone's game here. We've seen a good play here. Who is it going to be?
It is Schwartz.
Oh man. Wow, a pivotal cornerstone, literally a cornerstone in SN10 has been removed. How is, when you look at Schwartz ban as the final ban, you go, how is this possible? But really, I've been keeping track of it over the matches, Wookie, and it seems like without her, there's not a lot that you can do. I mean, I could think of Fartooth as a replacement in this case.
Fartooth, maybe Posy is the other one that I could think of.
Right.
Whoever's choosing whoever's determining the incremental bans might need a protective detail, as I see Tobo is not pleased by this. So I don't know who's in charge of that, but I hope you got good bodyguards and you're able to hide or throw hands back. I don't know, because here are all the incremental bans. We have, again, Lemwin, Aya Fiala, Typhon, Lapland the Cadenza, Exuzia the New Covenant, Virtuosa, and Schwartz. I think I actually got all those names right somehow, but all of those art ban in addition to the initial bans that he showed you at the start of the stream. As now we have the saltiest run back going through. This is literally just like, why are you giving me your hardest challenges? As they have to go through this run back. But the plot armor is real though. The plot armor is real.
Let us show us that bracket. We know. We all know. We've been waiting for this all night. Accumulation of all of the efforts of everyone in this tournament has come down to this matchup. Do Not versus Crush Heartily Undulate Dubiously in the final match here.
As Chud made that run back through the entire lower bracket just to face the ones that sent them there in the first place. As on Team Do Not, we have Spipley, Dylan, and Q versus on Team Chud, Tobo, Bloop, and Azzy.
Oh yeah, it's going down. It is going down here. Do Not, and that name also always cracks me up. Does invoke enduring silence. I always forget it. But it's gonna be interesting, especially with Tobo's response in chat. How he's going to adapt to this. If it to the really surprising final ban here as we go into grand finals.
I feel like we might have to duck and hide because we both predicted the last two bans, intentional or not, or we're just really good at predicting from down the line. But maybe we need to hide after if things go south.
Maybe Wookie. I mean, we've been predicting whatever we say. Oh, they surely got ICS 4 down. Something crazy happens. You predict Virtuosa, it happens. Maybe we're breathing it into fruition. Maybe we should stop. You know
I mean, I think I've cursed like 4 different teams at this point. In my defense, though, Chud has benefited from that curse 4 different times. So, you know, if you guys are gonna go after someone, leave me out of this. Like, look, the curse evidently have helped you guys more than it's helped other people, which means other teams don't go after me either. But we're gonna have to see how people adapt to the contingency because this is JO, so we do still have another contingency to see.
Right, and this contingency is going to be the final one of tonight. Let's hope. We're hoping the best for these teams. Let's see it. Lay it on us.
What do we have? Limited workforce. Teams are allotted a budget of 10 6-star operators between all players. The budget decreases by 1 after each round, so it kind of stacks on its own. Does this not just help Do Not?
You know, it might, on top of the Schwartz ban, it's like a kick in the knee, a low blow for Chud here as we're getting hit with the double whammy. Maybe we should stop. We're breathing this into fruition. Oh man, allotted a budget of 10 6-star operators between players. How is this gonna work out? We're gonna see the allotment soon. Oh, it might hit Ash hard here, but I do believe that they will think of something together as a team to make it happen.
Chud's been able to overcome the odds before with like the map advantage. So are they able to overcome what might be their strongest test of the night? It's Chud's inherited plot armor that they stole from Path versus Dylan, a previous winner. Plot armor versus the champion mentality. Is Dylan gonna be able to hold on to that title and bring it home? You know, hold on to it, or Do Not will be able to continue, or is Chud gonna have yet another comeback win?
Well, let's get into it, Wookie. Without any further delay, let's just see. Let's get this round out. All right. So from what we're seeing, we got Tobo at Q here. Again, siege placement on the top right from Q, DN, and also Cruz alt bottom left with Bagpipe S1 to help on bullet time here. Tobo opting for Golden Glow safety nets, and Cruz actually in the top right instead of Aqua usually places, and May to replace Cruz where he moved her from.
Probably as a big relief to Tobo, he could use a little handy again. for all the players, they're probably like, oh, we combat mechanics again, so good. As I mean, Q has shown he does not care that there is no Schwartz. He has a meat sandwich set up.
Yeah, and Wow, a Spurria here. Spurria, oh, S2, it seems to buff. And End Speaker's walking down with a bunch of mobs, setting the goop everywhere. It seems End Speaker's down, but very down there. Let's see what Tobo has cooking over on DN's side. We're sitting passively with Croissant and Reed Alter. We're seeing again a new breath of fresh air, new operators that this contingency is forcing on our players.
I mean, look at Q's comp though. There's what, like maybe 3, 6. Actually, no, I think that's 4 6-stars being used. You have a Reed Alt, you have a Gold Glow, you have a Siege, and you have a Bagpipe. But I think that's it for the 6-stars being used. So not that many. We're on Tobo's side. You have Inez, you have Golden Glow. That's a Fartooth that I saw. That was an Ak. Yes, Ak is actually a 6-star. For those of you who might be like, wait a minute. He is. So, to kind of divvy up the allotment here, as Q's only 1 kill away from being able to move on to, opens the door for, I believe Spipley is on DHEX8CM. Yep. Opens the door for Spipley to get started. Tobo behind by about, let's say, roughly 10 kills, just as an estimate. That end speaker looks rather upset.
Yeah, just relying on just stalling with Inez and Kanta and just waiting for No Alter to deal the damage here, along with Golden Glow from Tobo. Let's see how it pays off. He does have a little handy, but Spipley is sitting pretty nice here, trying to set up again with Click on the top right for the stun and also to follow Poncho as he makes his way down. Click will be able to still hit Poncho here.
I mean, look at how few 6-stars that Spipley's using. It's just an Emmett holds. It's the only it's the only one she needs.
Yeah, and it's Eben holds right here, also flying under the radar of DPS, being kind of like an underdog pick here, and just oh no!
The plot armor survives. The plot armor lives another day.
And a reset. Not enough time for Ebenholz to skill, I'm assuming. But now Bloop on the offensive from Chud. We're getting the same Crusher setup here, and it's gonna shape up to let's see who has the map down here with this contingency. It shouldn't be a problem with Bloop because he's been running Crushers, and there's only 2 of them, and he's low rarity operators in general. So it'll be interesting to see how Spipley is gonna come back from this.
I mean, that is something we saw on Dunot's previous run, where that one Poncho boat was very close, very nearly snuck through before Endholz. Bloop is also resetting.
A reset from Bloop here, and now it goes back to Dunot taking the lead here. It's anyone's game at this point. Let's see who has the map really down. Let's see. I think it was because Spipley's Ebenholz just not being able to get the damage down quick. Maybe some timings were off, but just ironing out those kinks of this stage and allowing for the opening of map 3 is where this is gonna make the pivotal change here.
Blue points are being set up. It's that one Poncho boat where it's like, that is, I don't know if that was like a timing thing or something that was slightly off, but that Poncho boat being able to sneak through, that was kind of scary about that one happening. That one should not have happened as well. Here comes the Poncho boat as this time it does die. Okay, the Poncho boat does die as Ebenholz is holding on for dear life. Just one more shot into, Ebenholz did die this time. As what do you do here, Spit? Okay, Poncho does die. No Ebenholz though. I wonder if that's going to affect the DPS on those boats, or if Indigo's going to be able to handle it without Ebenholz. Like, was the death of Ebenholz accounted for, as the boat is starting to move around here at the bottom side though, because there is the sailor that is still alive. As, okay, never mind. I think he got bought. I think that's an Iris setup with the sleep, as Kara being able to set up. I think the damage should be able to come through. Well, maybe not. The damage is not coming through. It is another reset. Ebenholz dying there was actually critical. He did not have him dying there has crippled that run. That is another reset by Spipley, as now eyes are on Bloop again to not leak. Seriously, the amount of leaks, like someone go find a plug or something. We gotta plug all these leaks.
It might be that little amount of damage like we saw Poncho. Oh, are we gonna be seeing a leak from Bloop? Saved by Project Red here. In the heat of the moment, Project Red clutches up. We're getting the Quartz versus Poncho here. Healed by Warfarin. Is it going to be enough, though, or are we just stalling for more?
I mean, if you're Bloop, though, you can afford to stall, though, because Spiffly had to reset. You can afford a lot of time to stall, right? Because, I mean, you have the title build coming in, but he's... Oh, wait.
And
Oh
a
my god.
reset from Bloop. Poncho just wiping the whole map with his enormous waves. It seems maybe the 6-star damage difference, the slight damage difference, is making a huge difference in the kill timings, as we've been talking all night. The kill timings and the skill timings and deployment and everything, just all those little mistakes, butterfly effect into a mission failed, unfortunately.
Well, they have a few more next times to get them, as Spipley is going through the opener of the map again. It's just a matter of, can Ebenholz... If Ebenholz lives, that map, I think, she'll be okay. But if Ebenholz doesn't live, then things get a little bit spicier. But both McCord's doing some work. Poncho's gonna go down, as we've seen. It's what happens with the boat, right? It's what happens with the boat afterwards. That's the big question, as well as what happens with Poncho afterwards. Like, Ebenholz dying there is actually what killed that map for Spipley. A slightly different setup. If you look at what the blue poison is, she did shift that blue poison, as Benna is also being set up here now to presumably deal with Poncho to stall him out a bit.
Right, we're seeing these little increment of changes making a huge difference. It seems Ebenholz is going to survive this time with the BP placement and puzzle there, tanking and just stalling Poncho, setting up Indigo for that safe blue box coverage here. Over on Bloop's side, we have Hodor chipping away at Poncho as we're getting the kill gates in the top left, of course, by Ulpian, setting up for the buff kill on Wimchimes and Warfarin here.
As Ebenholz, yeah, that sailor is not long for the role. Skill. I think he remembers that man. Well, actually, he's not going to remember that last one because he actually died. But Bloop has to reset again.
Oh no! I didn't catch what went awry there, but it's another reset. It's gonna increase the gap that Dunat is gonna have and that they really do need to beat out the final map on the final map here. Let's see if Bloop goes back to the drawing board. Takes a meteor to help out, it looks like, with the defense shred.
If you're Bloop, like, do you just take another operator at this point? Because, like, evidently something's leaking, right? Like, would you not just take another operator just to eat a little bit? Because you're going down one operator. Like, at this point, you just need to clear the map. You have to clear the map.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, just clearing the map, and, you know, that one little change, like what we saw on Spipley's side, is keeping Ebenholz alive and just holding down that left side here. It looks like some enemies are going to make it onto land, but it seems we do have puzzle for that. We're letting the boats go around, but we honestly have most of the time in the world here because we do have a large, almost map advantage here if Spipley can clean up. Bloop is sticking with his guns and just going with crushers and bring that extra defense down. Hopefully will help clear the gap, but we move on to map 3 with Dylan.
Spipley able to clean up that map for real this time, as Bloop has to reset what is that, 4 times? Fifth time? Fourth time? Fifth time? The plot armor is starting to look like it's run its course here, as Bloop is struggling, just absolutely struggling to clear DXACM.
Yeah, and we're seeing the Reapers now being put into play. We have Executor Alter and La Pluma just holding it down, getting that AoE, not letting anyone through, while also not having to dedicate a healer onto them. We're seeing a setup for Narantuya as their response to Exia, as their version of Exia here. As the boss comes out, let's see if it pays off. Narantula just absolutely melting Minimalist. We have Posy on the ready for the sleeping and poor Minimalist here.
I'm all kicking a man while he's down. He's like, guys, I'm just lying down here. As I believe he should be going down shortly. I mean, damage is there in case he manages to stay. At this point, I mean, I'm just looking at Dylan's comp of how much affected by the 6-star ban is this going to be, because that's a pause. That's a Posy, that's an Exec Alter, that's a Narantuya. But I don't think there's actually... I think they should be good for the next round with this setup as well, while I'm looking at this, because I don't think they're at their 10 6-star cap at all.
Yeah, it's just opening up those possibilities. We have Dylan just holding down on a firm grip on those trash mobs, just Lapland denying the dodge, securing that lane. Bloop still trying to hold out the opening. Let's see if he has it this time. Choosing not to bring Meteor this time, but hopefully a different way, different skill timings make a huge difference here, as Dylan is on the course to taking this. But it with these enemies, you never know. Face whackers, you know, it could go either way.
I mean, with a neural there to be able to take the face and a knock, I don't know if the face that level, because there is plenty of setup there to be able to handle them. So last 5 enemies here, skills are being procced, all the damage being activated as the last few enemies get shredded as round 1 goes to DN after let's just say a bit of a fiesta of the second map.
Wow, and this is best of 3, so Team Do Not just taking the first game of the set, and oh man, it's going against what we said again. We said maybe they'll struggle again, but they're able to pull through, and it seemed that Bloop might have to go through the strategies, or maybe take a really long, hard think about how he's going to start and take care of Poncho, because right now it does seem that may be the thorn in their side right now.
It's not going to get easier, though. It's going to get a little harder, because now instead of 10 6-stars, they're only going to have 9 because it's by 1. As we're going to the second round here, because, well, not right now, at least. We're just kind of, yapping a little bit, but because most of what happened on the side of DN was Spipley's setup, but now that she's been able to refine it a bit, it's just, I mean, Q was able to finish that map faster, right? So
right,
it's just a matter of making sure your setup is secure enough in case of weird shenanigans happen, as we saw with the boat that just snuck off through rabbit holes there, right? He just kind of scuttled on through, made it to the blue box, and kind of kicked off this whole fiesta of resets. I'm more worried about on the side of Bloop, because even after all that time spent, we still didn't see that map cleared. So it's like, how's he going to adjust with one less 6-star? Or is he okay with that? Like, did he manage to figure something out in, this current, brief middle period?
It must be hitting the drawing board here, but maybe, I don't want to say it, but maybe going out of the Crusher range, but I know most likely wouldn't do that. It might be an option, but maybe Pride gets the better, or just making a statement, but something does need to change. If we're going to be able to get past that, as you said, it's going to get only harder. So their backs, Team Chud backs against the wall. Let's see if they have the teeth to bear out this contingency here.
Are they able to bring out the backwards broomsticks and take down DN, the team that sent them down to the lower brackets in the first place? Or is DN just going to say, no, we sent you down to the lower?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. It's gonna be cool to see how maybe Team Do Not actually make their runs faster and try to take advantage of the map 2 advantage that they have. And right now they're just they don't need the drawing board. They're just trying to make their strats a bit faster, just in case if Bloop does indeed find a way around this contingency here.
Yeah, the question is, though, even if you make your map setup faster, is that going to account for reset? Because the critical thing here is not necessarily a speed. It's whether or not there's going to be a reset, as here we go, going into SN10 again. I don't think Q's going to have to change his setup much, if at all, as I think that's an Indra setup instead of a Siege opener. I don't think I see a Siege on this map anymore. Yeah, I don't see a Siege anymore. So Q did reduce by 1, but, I mean, Indra should be able to handle it, maybe.
Yeah, we're switching out Glasgow members here, seeing if a pick that we usually do not see, Indra, is able to hold out, taking down the old Reef boys. Really nice. Again, Reed top right. We have Golden Glow, Scragglies, and also Stun. Again, Tobo going for Golden Glow again and putting Cruise alt. Pretty much the same setup from last time here.
Slightly different though. That is a Santala that I see from the side of Tobo.
Oh,
and
right here. Oh,
Yeah, it's Santana that I'm like, ooh,
Oh, yeah.
that's gonna be pretty fun.
Yeah, and it let's see what he's been cooking here. We do have Jay in the pocket for Q. We have the average bagpipe, Cruz holding left side, Croissant in the top right, and let's see, Tobo gonna have to protect with Mr. Nothing here. Able to take it out, nice, and we are stabilized here.
Yeah, Tobo is stable, but Q is still ahead by quite a significant lead. As I mean, the next time End Speaker pops up, he is gonna get toasted by that read all S2 again. Very, very fast charge time, like SP charge, for how much damage it does. As you know, Reef Breakers are going down. There's no more Seaboard, another Sea brand for them to hide behind. As skill is up, as End Speaker is getting absolutely fried yet again. Last two enemies for Q. As I think they're actually about to go into this with an even bigger lead than they had last time.
Yeah, and it's Tobo relying on these fast redeploys or just neural damage to finish off. Hopefully, what we saw from last time, End Speaker in the bottom right, while Spipley waltzes on over with Kira start and Puzzle on the left, as we are quite familiar with Tobo here. We're going into the final phase. Last couple enemies here. Let's see what he does. There goes the neural. He's able to, and he's running free. Mr. Nothing blocking while Golden Glow tries to finish it up. We used all of our little handies, and it is enough for the next stage. Chud starting Bloop with the grudge.
He's down about 10 kills. He's got a lot of ground to make up here, though. Is Spipley going to be able to get the setup in time to be able to stop that first boat from sneaking on through? As damage attempts are coming through, Spipley opting to not go for that. Okay, boat does go down. He's getting a little worried there for a second. But Poncho does go down here. Evan Holes does go down. But I think Spipley has a counter for that. I mean, look at the amount of other casters that Spipley has brought compared to the last time. Spipley bringing a much bigger squad. I think just to account in case Evan Holes dies, have that backup option, right? Just in case what happens. You're ahead by a lot. You don't need to panic here.
Yeah, we're seeing unpopular picks like Diamante and Iris here, and they're just going to hold it down with the casters that we have going on here. Bloop going for the same strategy. Hoder chipping down on Poncho. Poncho in the middle, facing down. Wind Chimes with the buff of Warfrin. Gavio helping out Quartz. And yeah, Spipley just having that slight 6 kill advantage, but Bloop still does have Poncho 2 kill here in the middle.
Yeah, last 12 enemies here for Spipley. I think setups are coming in just to help clean up that last boat at the bottom side. Earthshare being used. I think we were just tanking individual shots from the grenade turret there. As last 9 enemies on the side of Spipley. I believe there is title caster, but I mean, he is kind of getting spawn capped on the top side, so I believe it should be less of an issue as the boats are getting mowed down one by one. And it's just finish strong. Finish strong, and you got this.
They're gonna need it here. Just cleaning up with Click and Beeswax tanking. Blue going for a similar reposition of Hoder from the bottom right to the top right, and Olpianis in the top left, seeing if he can just catch up with the kill gates. But we are on the last enemy, and that is going to be map 3 for Do Not. Let us see what Dylan has been cooking up here with this clear.
All eyes on Dylan now. I don't think Dylan has to change the setup because Q reduced his 6-star usage instead of Dylan. So all Dylan has to do is just anchor here, as Bloop still needs to chunk through that DHEX8 CM map as a much cleaner run for Bloop this time. I think whatever happened last time, nerves were off. He's able to think more rationally. No resets out of sight of Bloop. So more pressure on Dylan this time instead of seeing, 4 resets and having to be like, okay, I'm good, right? But it's the same setup from Dylan. That's the big key.
Yeah, like what you said, big ups for Blue, clearing it up, not being able to reset, still putting on the pressure. Although a bit slower, there's still a way for Azzy to do it, as we know, tried and true, Exia. We're actually going with a different setup here. We have Thorns going out. We have a pardon me. Lucilla, I was so stunned that I forgot her name.
Think
No
for a
one
second, wait a
ever-
minute.
But we do have Lucilla, and then Dylan, of course, going for that inspired Narantia and Warfrin setup.
I mean, he didn't have to change his setup because he had Q reduced his 6-star use by swapping Siege out. So it just keeps it comfortable for Dylan on ICS4 because they know how much of a hit that having to reset on ICS4 is, as cards galore on the side of Azzy to help out with the amount of damage coming out. But the 6-star bans have hit hard on Azzy. No more Exia setup, right? You got Thorns, you got like the DPS is so low for killing Minimalists on the side of Azzy this time.
Yeah, and right here, we're going to see the nuclear bomb just taking out some ops and just taking control. What we've been trying to prevent is happening here. Let's see if the DPS is enough, if the cards can hold off while our operators just take down Minimalist here. But he seems to be just ravaging here as Dylan is just golfing. He's golfing out here. He's got the boss down, he's got Lapland down to help with the dodge boys, and then he also has option for the face whackers, and Azzy's gonna have to restart here.
You cannot afford to do that as Azzy. I mean, there's only 5 kills left on the side of Dylan. There's only 4 more kills left. The face whackers coming out. Face whackers are as do not is what Dylan says to Chud's plot armor as the door is slammed shut. Do not sweeps the grand finals 2-0.
In an upset of events, what we've been seeing consistency from Azzy, and we've been seeing it, but it wasn't enough here. But congratulations, do not, our champion of Joint Operation ShatterCoast, Spipley, Dylan, and Q, well deserved here with a sweep.
Well deserved. I mean, that's honestly a sign of really good preparation, because if you look at their comp, how much were they affected by that last contingency ban? They barely cared.
Yeah, and just using these other operators that we usually don't see, we usually think maybe it won't lead us to victory, but in this exact case, it really was the deciding factor and the contingency that kind of worked in their favor for working with those operators that really paid off in the end.
Yeah, and that just shows you, preparation does pay off of learning the strats that aren't all just full power 6-stars, right? You gotta respect the 5-star usage, as we saw from Team Do Not. I mean, Chud had an absolute miracle run through the bottom bracket after getting knocked out in round 1. Just an absolute Cinderella. Can we get a round of applause for them for, making it all the way this far, but Do Not proving that they were the team to beat this entire tournament, knocking down Chud and just going on a tear through the entire bracket. And, never one fifth in the lower bracket, went all the way. Huge congrats to Do Not, and huge, round of applause for the amount of planning that they did to account for that final ban.
Yeah, and that's what Joint Op is all about. It's the preparation, it's the adaptability, and it's the pure perseverance of sheer will of what you're able to come up with your strategies, and without them, that brought this victory. But
I mean, we've seen it all this tournament, right? We saw just overwhelming power from the side of Do Not with 5-star operators, right? Operators that you don't really think about as the first thing for speed runs. And we also just saw the absolute just undying will, the sheer just perseverance on the side of Team Chub to go through that entire lower bracket. But that's Joint Ops, and that'll do it from us. I'm Wookie.
And I'm Comfy. This has been Joint Op. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Alrighty, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to Joint Operation, and of course, big thank you to our 2 lovely casters for bringing you through the whole journey. And can we get one last GG's clap emoji for Team Do Not? Definitely not these nuts. Thank you so much to everyone for also participating, and of course, big commiseration to, congratulations as well to Chud for, fighting through the lower bracket ever since round 1, making it so far, being one of the content creator teams to join in last minute. So thank you so much for pulling through and assembling a team all together. So, I think you all were definitely a dark horse that a lot of people didn't expect. So I think the fact that you all made it to the grand finals is absolutely phenomenal. So congratulations to you all. But as well as, of course, you know, congratulations to Do Not. Once again, it is Q, Spipley, and Dylan for taking the winning trophy. Yes, and I believe this is actually a long time coming because Q and Spipley have been actually trying to get the winning trophy for a very long time, but have always come into second place. So congratulations to them for finally winning it. And as well as Dylan, I believe this is going to be his second time winning joint operations. So I guess, what can we say? Maybe this was the final trio that needed it to take it over the line. So congratulations to all of them. But of course, enough with the congratulations. I have to say that this whole project could not have happened without the amazing staff that were behind the scenes. So, going to give some big congratulations and thank you to all these amazing faces that you see on screen. So, of course, at the very top are our staff members, but as you see, we have a lot of tournament organizers that had to be working in behind the scenes because this time we did end up working with 14 whole teams to make this whole event happen. So thank you so much to all of them, and of course you can also type in team and then TOs to see the list for all of them over there as well. So thank you so much to all of their hard work. For example, if you all thought that the stream looked freaking beautiful, you can say a big thank you to Ambrisk. And Tama, if you all saw the PV at the beginning, you all can thank him because he did an amazing job with that. So, and of course, you know, not trying to, I guess throw out specific names, but, you know, everyone did contribute and did a wonderful job. So thank you so much. And once again, as a reminder, the prize for the winners is going to be a $30 gift card. So this can be redeemed either as a Google Play Store credit or Apple Store credit, or also, I don't think we mentioned it, but you can also redeem it from the YoStar store. So afterwards, team Do Not, D's Nuts, please do DM me afterwards and I will get you all three of you, your own gift card. So thank you so much. But yes, that will be it for me. If you enjoyed what you saw today, and you know, maybe you want to participate in the next time that we run joint operation, we have our own event Discord that you can join, and we do have a looking for team channel. So if you by chance want to participate the next time that we do decide to run this PvP tournament, join the event Discord over there. Make sure to turn on the ping notification roll to make sure you stay on top of all the times that we will be announcing our important announcements. But yes, anyways, once again, thank you so much to everyone, whether you were a participant, whether you know you only got through a couple of the rounds, whether you ended up making it all the way through to the very end. Thank you so much to you all for deciding to take the time and the dedication to not only show up today, but to prep all that time. I know some people were staying up during crazy hours prepping, so thank you so much. Truly could not have done it without you. And of course, our 4 content creator teams. Once again, that was Zyrthan with Whip. We have Echogen with Stellar Wave. We have Tobo with, I'm not going to pronounce the whole name. It's just they're just going to be Chuddies, okay? I'll just call them the Chuddies. And then Zafang, of course, with Boy Kissers. So thank you so much. And to our 2 lovely shoutcasters, of course, can we get a huge round of applause for Wookie and with Comfy Kahuna. So thank you so much to the 2 of them for doing an amazing job. Sorry, the 2 of their names rhyme. What can I say? Hey, yo, wait, maybe in the future, Cookie and Wookie? Duo? I don't know. Leakers? Anyways, thank you so much to all of them for doing an amazing job as well. But anyways, that will be it for me. Thank you once again to all of you as well in chat. Whether you were a lurker throughout the whole thing, whether you participated, added some fuel to the drama behind the scenes, thank you so much for deciding to also spend your evening with us and watch this whole competition come to fruition. All right, that'll be it for me. I'll see you all next time and hope to see you in the running next time. All right, bye-bye, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.